He bursts away from Windsor. Good luck catching him. Cameron with a touch of class.
Bouncing ball. Simpkin goal.
Give me my moment, step aside.
Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
The Saints look to square the ledger at 5 wins and 5 losses without star Nasai Wanganeen-Miller this afternoon as they take on the bottom of the ladder, Richmond, in round 10 of the AFL. Euro Europa, one of 6 teams who have chosen to adopt the Indigenous language for Sir Doug Nicholls Round, and they look to try and get back onto the winners list after starting promisingly with 5 of the opening 6 goals against the Gold Coast Suns in Darwin last week before inaccuracy and fading in the heat proved costly. They do have 3 big tests to come, so Ross Lyon keen to try and find some momentum as their season hasn't fully taken flight. Well, the Tigers failed to back up their win against the West Coast Eagles a couple of weeks ago. Despite leading Adelaide at halftime, it was once more injuries to the Richmond growing list, and 18 players unfortunately out on the injury list. So they didn't have a senior player listed in their VFL yesterday from their AFL list. Matt Clincher called the action alongside Ben Cameron this afternoon. Welcome to you, Benny.
Hello, Clinchy. Great to be here. It's a good day to be indoors under the roof at Docklands. It's a good day for Ducks and a good day to be indoors. Dreary old Melbourne afternoon, it certainly is. No late change for either of these two sides. St Kilda on a 5-game winning streak against Richmond, and we know that the Tigers do not like coming to Docklands. They've won once in their last 14 efforts here under the roof. Yep,
it's a good starting point in which what we might see this afternoon. Our Sunday crew is assembled. Daniel Harford is here as always on a Sunday. Welcome to you, Harf.
Good on you, Clinchy. Benny, nice to be with you on a Sunday. And you're right, it's a good day to be under the roof. This is the day you love driving into this very venue here at Docklands, knowing you don't have to worry about the elements outside getting to the car.
And alongside Harf this afternoon, Brett DeLidio joins you. He's on multiple duties this afternoon. Welcome to you, Lids. You were seeing a debutant for the Tigers, but you've had a bit to play with.
Yes, I certainly have. Young Noah Roberts-Thompson making his debut today. I've already been down the rooms to see him get his jumper presented to him by Big Toby Nankervis. I've also been down to my girls' footy this morning as well, so I've watched a couple of games of under 11s and under 9s. And
dominant?
Yeah, yep. Depends what we're classifying as dominant there, Half. But
if they had a good time, it's dominant.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Smiles on the faces and 2 good wins, so yeah. No complaints.
And you knew my first question about Noah Roberts-Thompson, Lids.
Yes.
Is he related to LRT?
Yes, he is. Second cousin, distant. Not when I first found out about Noah, I started watching him play as a 16-year-old. It has to be related to LRT, who's in the management game or was in the management game. I was like, oh, well, he'll just go with his what I thought might have been his uncle or first cousin, but no direct conversations had there, and I've managed to look after it for him for the last 18 months.
Is his nickname Louis? They call him Louis?
I would. Just NRT, I believe.
I'd call him Robbo Tomo.
That's a bit of a mouthful when you're trying to get a handball.
Trying to get the footy.
Robbo Tomo.
Louis. Give me
so for St Kilda, wins over GWS, Port Adelaide, the West Coast Eagles, Carlton. So we're trying to get a gauge. They're 4 wins and 5 losses, and it feels like the season is starting to slip away unless they can try and find some form. How do you see this afternoon for Euro Europa without Nasai Wanganeen-Miller, who is very much the star of the St Kilda lineup for this season?
Well, it's a challenge, isn't it? Because they're coming back from Darwin, so that's going to take a bit out of them as well, trying to get back up for this. But it's a game they need to win. We saw on Sunday at 3:15 last week at the MCG, we saw the Tigers put on a really good show in the first half against Adelaide. So they showed a fair bit of mettle, did the Tigers, and a bit of quality as well. So I reckon Ross would be a little bit nervous about this game here for Euro Europa, and because as you sort of alluded to, Clinchy, it's a game they've sort of got to win. They have to. If they're any good, you've got to beat the team that's 18th on the ladder.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because Ross is still talking about progress and development. He was avoiding the wins-losses conversation a couple of weeks ago, but he was talking about development and getting better. Well, if you're getting better, you've got to come here at your home venue and defeat Richmond, who have never really enjoyed coming to this place in the first place.
Thank you, Dimmer. No, I think you're right. It's a game that the Saints just have to win, and they're, it's good to see Cal Wilkie. He's been named, hasn't he? He's ready to go. I saw him out there warming up. I was a bit worried about his game streak.
165th consecutive game. Jared Crouch, 194 the record,
impressive.
so he's still on track.
He's still on track, but he holds that back line together so well as well. For the Tigers, it's more been about just the lack of players that have been able to actually pick. They haven't had a chance to put their best young players together for a long period of time or a stretch of games where they can see what they're actually made of and where they can all gel together. But like you said last week, they actually they had a crack. They just got to be able to do that for longer. And hopefully we're in for a good game, but we'll see.
So explain to me this, right? So Cal Wilkie's under the pump physically, gets up to play today after 164, whatever it is, consecutive games. McKelty Lafau, in a team that has no players left, is managed after 8 games in a row. Now, I know he's coming off a Rico. I know he's had some challenges. He's managed after 8 games in a row. Surely could have played. And that helps Richmond, doesn't it?
Well, absolutely it does. It tests out Cal Wilkie. They've also got Jack Silvani down there who can potentially play a role. But, I mean, Tommy Lynch is going to be down there with some younger pups, isn't he, at his feet. Yep. And they're trying to essentially, challenge Cal Wilkie in that Saints backline. I think it's I think Richmond know where they're at half in terms of what they're doing, and whether McKelty plays or not, it's more about looking after him for the long term than it is the short.
So the Saints get back Jack Higgins, their leading goal scorer this season with 16 goals after concussion. And also Charlie Banfield will make his debut this afternoon. We got to see him in the VFL half, the Western Australian. Popped up and kicked a couple of goals against the Blues. Unfortunately, that was the same game in which Max King suffered a hamstring injury. So here's the great white hope that Saints fans would love to see back.
Yeah, well, absolutely for Max. But even for Charlie Banfield, he's a quality young player. I really like watching him play in the VFL. I reckon there's a bit to give. So keen to see him at AFL level.
It is Sir Doug Nichols round across 2 weeks, so the players gathering below us on the broadcast wing, and we're about to have the Welcome to Country and the official ceremony. It was lovely when the Carlton and Western Bulldogs players took part of the ceremony, so in a moment or so's time we'll take you down to ground level as the Saints gather on the left-hand side, the Tigers on the right, and the umpires this afternoon in the lime blue. And I think we can take you downstairs to the official ceremony, which is about to get underway.
To deliver the official Welcome to Country.
Wandia Gabone, Nara Jara Nun, Duded Ron, Wandia Nara Jara Nun, Nara Jara Nun, Nara Jara Nun, do it wrong.
Please thank Chanel Chandler, my granddaughter, for calling in the spirits of our ancestors, for each of us to learn to live together and respect each other for who we are and where we come from. Of course, I would like to start by acknowledging all ancestors, elders and communities across our great nation and neighbouring islands. And I acknowledge each and every one of you that have not only come along to the game tonight or are watching it, for your support over many years and in the spirit of reconciliation. To a very special person who's an ambassador for this year is none other than Michael Magic McLean, and to thank him as a great trailblazer, but also for his spirit, dedication, which has led on to who we have playing today for both our men and women. I also want to especially acknowledge my brother James Wandon, who was the first Aboriginal player for St Kilda back in 1952, and to all of those players who fought so hard to stay in the game with little or no support, but stood strong for who they were, and again gave a wonderful opportunity for a great sport like Aussie rules. Today we celebrate Sir Doug Nichols Round, and it's always such an honour to those, not only those that have come forward in many years through their families, but also for those who would probably never walk this same journey of Aussie rules. So I thank Sir Doug and his family and all those elders that time who have given us what we have today. We are known as the Managum people. This leaf is a gift to you, and I'll take this leaf on your behalf, hoping you accept our gift, because it means that you are welcome to everything from the tops of the trees to the roots of the earth. It also means you join with us to honour the spirits of our ancestors who have nurtured this land, my father's traditional land, for thousands and thousands of years. To both St Kilda and Richmond today, we wish you the very best of luck for a game, and of course to all our on-field and off-field who work so hard to put this all together. Our language is the Woi Wurrung, Waminjakar, Wurrunju Balak, Yemen, Kundi Bik, and you are most welcome to the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung people. Noj Kanwa.
Thank you, Chanel, Auntie Joy, and the players involved in today's Welcome to Country.
And the completion of the Welcome to Country ceremony taking place below us here on level 3 here at Docklands. It's your Oaks St Kilda taking on Richmond as round 10 of the AFL continues. The other game taking place crosstown at the MCG. It's Fremantle who lead by 49 points against the Bombers. Third quarter action there. Wally up 13-7-85 to the Bombers. 4-12-36. Matt Clinch alongside Ben Cameron to call the action. Andrew Mays is down on the boundary. Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport, as the players go through their final preparations. We're a couple of minutes away from the opening bounce. And the challenge half from a coaching side of things for Adam Uze. It's always hard. We had the Bombers last year with such a lengthy injury list. So really we're looking at Samson Ryan, who didn't play in the VFL yesterday, as you touched on. Lafau as well, who was managed, and really Caleb Smith are really three players who are not currently listed. They're 18 players on the injury list, so they make them a hard side to try and gauge as to whether they are progressing in their development with so much top-line talent not out there at the moment.
And still we've seen moments, haven't we? And that's what you're going to see with a team like Richmond at the moment, the way their list is being built. You're going to see moments from developing players, and the challenge is obviously to make them that last longer and happen more often when you're a young player. And that's the challenge of coaching and development, and you've been at Clubland Lidge, you know more about that than I do of recent times, but that's the challenge. So this is what they're trying to do. They've got good people in charge down there. They've got great support staff for Adam Uze down there to try and fast-track this new generation of Tiger Stars, and the ability to educate for them, the kids to understand and live the experience, which I'm massive on, being out there and living it to learn it, as opposed to just whiteboard and training lids. Yep. And this is their chance against a team that will absolutely come at them today. St Kilda's pressure has been enormous this year, and they'll have to find a way to get through them, and then on the transition side of that, defend on the way through.
Yeah, it is, as you said, it's all just learning. Speaking to some of the younger players down there, they're a massive rap for their development boys that they've got. You know, Dr. A, who's just come over from Western Bulldogs after retiring. Luke Bruce is there as well. Jack Zeeble, obviously. Christian Newman's another one of the assistant coaches, but they because they are so fresh out of the game, they're able to relate with a lot of those younger boys and help fast track that. But you're right, there's nothing like being out there and actually experiencing playing as a player to get that taste, but also to understand, well, this is what AFL level's like. If I'm not up to speed, yes, you can train it amongst your peers, but going up against another side, and this is not the top of the table sort of stuff. We're not talking about Brisbane Lions or Swans or anything at the moment, but the Saints they're a slick side, and they will pressure well, like you said, so they're going to have to play the full 4 quarters to manage to get this job done.
I'm fascinated to see what sort of attack and physicality St Kilda apply early in this game. I mean, as I mentioned, coming off Darwin last week, it's never easy to get back. It's a long flight, it's sapping conditions. I imagine it would have been a relatively light week on the track for the Saints getting ready for this, and they get to a fast track and a position they know pretty well here at Docklands against a team that they should do a bit of a number on. So I'm fascinated to see how hard they press early against this young Richmond side. 13
players have played under 30 games for the Tigers this afternoon. The final member of our team is sitting in the front row for us. Andrew Mays, welcome to you.
Hello, Clinchy. As you mentioned, very nice to be inside on what is a wet, miserable Melbourne afternoon. Hill, Henry and Windhager representing St Kilda at the toss, and they did well enough to win. They will be kicking to the right of your radio dial if you're tuning in with the TV down this afternoon. Tim Taranto unsuccessful. Looking forward to seeing a bit of the youth again for the Tigers. They put up a half of effort last week to stay with the Crows and then got blown away, and they do it for longer this week.
That's the challenge ahead for the Tigers. As Maisie made mention.
They got blown away by a couple of stars, didn't they, last week? It was Rankin and Dawson. And you look at the Saints lineup, with Naz out, there's not really a Rankin and Dawson type that's going to blow this game apart, you wouldn't think. So they might go to get a bit of heart out of that.
Your Oaks St Kilda looking to square the ledger as they take on the Tigers in round 10. Here's Ben Cameron.
Tom De Koning opposed to Bolter, wins the opening tap. There's a whistle.
From where?
Free kick coming from somewhere. Free kick in the middle of the ground.
Good push from Timmy Taranto, just tried to get Max Hall underneath the footy.
Yeah, so it will go the way of Max Hall, who drives the Saints long inside 50. Marking contest. De Koning can't mark. Higgins at the full. Vlosten falls on top of him. High free kick. So Higgins will go back and take the set shot. Mark set 35 out. Slight angle to the right.
A bit stiff there, Nick Boston. Oh, it was the right arm as it came around as he's tried to wrap him up. Small forwards, they're so crafty at that, aren't they? They just know how to fall. But he was in a great position. He's always done that in his career, Jack Higgins. They'll certainly welcome him back this week.
Still reckon he's stiff. As we see somebody coming off the ground with a sore arm. Is that Trainer? Yeah. Sore arm. We'll get Maisie to keep an eye on that. Or a wrist. He's in trouble early doors.
On the St Kilda goal kicking the last 3 years, Jack Higgins starts at left, can't bring it back enough against his old mob. Grew up a St Kilda fan, of course, but started his career at Richmond. A minor score to begin. We've played a minute. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
I think he's about to break into celebration as well. Jack Higgins, as Miller brings the Tigers back into play, straight down the middle. Campbell's the target. It's a 2-on-1.
Front on
Stock up made front on contact, and the Tigers will get a free kick, but a little fortunate given the decision-making into the middle of the ground for Broad. He pulls in the mark as Caminiti tried to get there to get a hand onto it. Thinks about the hand pass to Cumming around the back. Works up looking for Campbell. Hand pass chopped off. Here go the Saints through Wilson. 2 bounces through the middle of the ground. Dodging and weaving. Got around Gloston. He might go for home. A third bounce. He pops up the kick to Higgins, who drops the mark. Miller comes sliding in. He's tackled and brought down by Filippo. And well, what could have been for both sides on that occasion? A ball up 40 metres out from the Saints' goal.
Oh, Jackie boy.
Oh, off the ball, he can't believe it.
It's flat as attack.
Oh, Ruck's arriving.
Oh, you can't do that.
Gets rid of Bolter, gives it off to Hall, who goes. So a Hall pass, perhaps in more ways than one for St Kilda. And Max Hall takes full toll. He goes on the run, the first of the afternoon, 1-1-7. Richmond, no score. Daniel Harford not happy with it after 2.5 minutes.
Well, in real time, I don't know what you guys think, but in real time, that looked like a dead set shove in the back of the Koning in the ruck contest, which gave the Tigers no hope and gave clear access to the Saints on the back of it. Pushed Noah Bolter fair square in the back as he comes to the contest, feeds it out to Hall and he goes. I'm a big Max Hall fan, unashamed Max Hall fan, but that should not have happened. That's a horrible miss.
You don't think you put too much mayo on it, and that's why they didn't play it?
Can't push anyone in the back when they're running towards the ball. I'd love to get a clearer replay of it, a closer angle of it, but that was a dead set push.
Yeah.
Max Hall up to 11 goals this season, kicks the opening goal of the match for Euro. And the Saints start promisingly. De Koning rises up, wins down the tap against Bolter. Taranto nice, tries to lock it clear, knocked away. It's coming for the Tigers, gets a hand pass away to Campbell. This time he takes a bounce, runs his full measure. Tom Lynch, top of the goal square, clears him and bounces through. No, just touched on the last line.
You pay a push there, he's going to get a free kick.
Stocker got back to get a hand on it, which would have denied the bouncing shot anyway, but it's no score and a free kick going the way of Dougal Howard for St Kilda. He's got the job on Tom Lynch this afternoon. Out to Stocker in the back pocket, sends it up the wing. Rising up, the mark taken by O'Connell. He has it for the Saints centre wing. 1-1-7 to the Tigers, yet to score as they can work it around the wing. Cal Wilkie so got fit to play after that heavy collision from Ben King's knee last week, and he works it over the top and Garcia has it. Back inboard with a short pass to Cal Wilkie. Tigers have numbers flooded back, so a patient build-up might be required. Short to Flanders, who marks inside the centre square. Plays on the former son, chips it out into the path of Mateus Filippo. Didn't quite get to him, short. Tried to spoil in the end rather than take the mark. Boston over the top of the footy. Filippo came in and made contact high. Free kick Richmond's way in the left back pocket. Saints by 7 points.
Vlosten ball. 1-1-7 plays no score. Vlosten, low drop punt up towards the wing, looking for Ross. Drops the mark, turns tackler on Hall, ball jars free. St Kilda on the wing through Burns, can't trap it out of play. Throwing coming, Andrew Mays.
Trainer, good news for Richmond fans. He's just had that wrist strapped. He'll be back on shortly. Remember last week they lost Tom Brown in the first 40 seconds of the game, so lucky to avoid that 2 weeks in a row.
Thanks, Maisie. Matt Klitsch and Ben Cameron calling the action. Daniel Harford, Brett Delidio with you. Bolter one down the tap to Campbell. Hand pass chopped off by Wilson. Awkward hand pass. Campbell tries to knock it down. Trezise can't get a disposal away as Windhager lays the tackle. It's in front of the two benches on the wing. St Kilda leading by 7 points. Opening goal the way of Hall. Bolter wins down the tap for the Saints. Ross caught behind. Garcia knocks it out. Burns gets a hand pass forward. Quick hand pass to Wilson and now to Max Hall. Sends it inside 50. Caminiti presents. Can't take the mark. Boston tries to knock it clear. Filippo, clean pickup. Jags it on his left. Fires on goal. They've got the opening to the Saints. Inside 5.5 minutes. They're 2-1. 13 to the Tigers, yet to score. Only been inside 50 on one occasion to the Saints 4. Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport.
Yeah, it was really good work in the stoppage there, wasn't it? Burns just had ability to step through the tackle. And then it was the fast feet of Darcy Wilson. Yeah, he's going to have an absolute field day, I feel, today. He looks sharp already. His ability to get up to the contest and then work back forward. Tejas Filippo, the moment he picked that up, he was not handballing. He was had eyes only for that goal. I've noticed that a little bit in his game of late. He doesn't mind having a bit of a sniff.
Bit of a licence, you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was a great finish.
Yeah, terrific finish. Nathan Broad just missed him in the tackle. Ran past him trying to smother the ball rather than hit the body. Just allowed him that step to open up and wheel onto his left. Great finish.
Have been a fast starting team in 2026 St Kilda, going by Euroke here tonight, or this afternoon. It's part of Sir Doug Nicholls' round, but they've won 8 of their 9 opening terms. Bolter goes early. Tom de Koning taps it down. Hall hacks it forward, up towards half forward, gathered by a short for Richmond. He'll kick to the wing, bouncing ball for Campbell. Gathers on the bounce, back feeds it to Trezise. He's bumped as he kicks, out of bounds on the full. Saints will get the free kick on the wing.
So they haven't had a lot of time and space, which we touched on pre-game. Saints' pressure's been strong early, let alone their finishing.
They lead by 13 points. McRae with the free kick. Up towards half forward. Pack forms. Burns can't take the mark. Comes down in the hands of Banfield. Rushes a kick to full forward. Bouncing ball. Back there to clear up. Gray for Richmond. Last line. Handball a little dicey. Able to work it out though through short. Loops it over the top. Knocked out of the hands there of Rechko. And out of play. Throw in left forward pocket here for St Kilda. They lead by 13. Richmond yet to score. We've played 7:20 in the opening term.
In comparison, the Tigers have only led at quarter time once so far in season 2026. Just the one win next to their name against the Eagles. De Koning worked Bolter underneath it in the forward pocket for the Saints. Spinning ball. Hall tries to get a hand pass out. Ross takes it back. And here's a chance for the Tigers to try and build. Rishko kicks out towards half back. The foot race is on. 2 Tigers lead the race, trying to reel it in. Sonsi against the boundary line. Trezise tackled by Sinclair, and the ball spills out over the boundary line. Saints by 13 points. 8 minutes gone, opening quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport, while at the MCG, it's the Dockers in control by 50 points over the Bombers midway through the final term.
In it comes Bolter, just moving, Tom de Koning underneath it.
So how does that work? That's exactly the same thing.
I wouldn't say that's overly consistent. Free kick to the Saints on the wing. De Koning thumps it inside 50, launching from the back. Filippo ends up with the footy off hands. Has nowhere to go. Wrapped up, ball up. 40 out from the attacking goal here for the Saints. The Rucks arriving late. Tom de Koning shoves Bolter out of the way again. No free kick there, or there is this time. A little late. Umpire Nick Jankovskis comes in. Umpires Jankovskis, O'Gorman, Rebashini and O'Brien in charge of this fixture here today. The Saints by 13, 9 in.
Trezise back to Broad. No one comes running at him, so he touches the ball on the ground. Cooper Sharman just happy to corral him. Works it back to Trezise in the back pocket. Short to Noah Bolter.
They've had no forward half possession at all, the Tigers, have they, so far this quarter?
Saints trying to hem them in, so across the defensive line, Nathan Broad takes the mark. He's going to go short to Miller. They're still only 30 metres out from their defensive goal, though, so the Saints press is on at the moment. As Miller tries to find an avenue out of defence, sends it out wide. And Jaden Short takes the mark for Richmond. He can advance it up. Rishko marks it right half back. Saints leading by 13 points. Plays on boundary side, sends it long up the wing. Looking for someone to present. Jonty Fall failed to get a hand to it, and Cal Wilkie, the St Kilda co-captain, takes the intercepting mark. Across half back, gets it to Sinclair. Hand pass away to Flanders, to De Koning through the middle of the ground. Now Winhager gets it back to TDK. Off a step, bangs it inside 50 in the direction of Caminiti and Filippo. Off Filippo's hands, it goes out of play in the right forward pocket for the Saints.
I reckon Broad and Miller are going to see a fair bit of footy today, judging by the way it's coming back through the middle of the ground. He'll be under a fair bit of pressure.
Throw in forward pocket for St Kilda. You row your rope here in Sir Doug Nicholls' round. Coming away with the footy, Bolter gives it off to Vlosten, who gets rid of it away towards Trezise. He gives it off to Ross, who turns it over. Saints ball again through Flanders, kicks corridor. McRae takes it off to Carroll. He'll look long inside 50 towards goal for the Saints and through. No, stays in play. Bounced off the bonce there, I think, and remained in play, and Vlosten picks it up. We might get a little check here.
It did come off his bonce.
Yeah,
You're right.
Little Falcon on the last line. Kept it alive. Free kick going to Vlosten in the back pocket here for Richmond. Saints by 13, 10 played.
9-1 inside 50s already. They're under the pump, the Tigers.
How long leads can the damn wall hold on? Vlosten long out of defence in the direction of the rising ruck in Oliver Hayes-Brown, and he takes the mark, or no, just can't quite hang on to it with Rowan Marshall. Just putting some late body on, and it goes out of play. So throwing it right half forward for Euro Europe. The Saints 2-1-13 to the Tigers yet to score. Take some territory at the moment. Ross alongside McRae as the ball spun in. Marshall taps it down. McRae on the move, does gather to Winhager. Tackle dispossessed. Hand pass in the direction of Steely Green. He missed Ross with a hand pass. Saints take it back. McRae, hand pass to Sinclair. Checks his kick broad over the back of Marshall. No whistle. Henry gathers in the pocket. Kicks looking for Cooper Sharman. Can't hang on to it. Hand pass over his shoulder. Caminiti hemmed in. Trying to dribble it towards the teeth of goal. Miller did enough, and he failed to make good contact with it. Goes out of play in the right forward pocket. 10-1. The inside 50 is the way of the Saints.
It looked like it was on the full off the foot of Miller as he was trying to chase and pressure.
They're going upstairs, having a bit of a look.
Getting it.
It is.
Delidio on early. Delidio's on early.
Get him in the arc.
I'm getting a sore neck from just looking to my right to start this game. It's all been at one end of the ground, hasn't it?
So as umpire Brett Delidio called, it was out on the full off Miller, and Anthony Caminiti has it right up against the boundary in the right forward pocket, only about 15 metres out, but this will take his best check side effort as he tries to open up the angle. It's a good effort, made it look easy. Only had the one goal coming into this afternoon's fixture, but he's doubled that with one of his best, and he enjoyed it as much as all the Saints fans. They stretch out to a 19-point lead with the opening 3 goals of the match. 3-1-19. 10 of the first 11 inside 50s. It's all the Saints at the moment. Daniel Harper and Brett Delidio with you on ABC Sport.
Yeah, they've been ultra impressive. They've come out, as you mentioned before, with their first quarter numbers, Benny, that they've really stamped themselves with their authority in this contest, and the Tigers cannot get out of their back half. So full credit to the way that the Saints have set this game up and knew what was coming at them, were able to shut down any sort of defensive rebounding from the Tigers. They've been able to just lock it in their forward half all the way through. And obviously hit the scoreboard as well. It's absolute nightmare for the players behind the ball for the Saints at the moment. It's just coming in every minute.
One-way traffic at the moment. Hayes-Brown wins the tap down, but Marshall picks it up for the Saints. Back to McRae to Filippo. Off to Flanders. High kick inside 50 for the Saints again. Broad drifts across. Intercept marks for Richmond. Short kick for Taranto. Still inside their defensive 50 here, Richmond. So Taranto goes for a little amble and then kicks out towards the wing. Stocker comes over, punches it out, and a throw in neutral territory, city side of the ground. The Saints 3-1-19. Richmond yet to score. They've gone inside 50 once, the Tigers. The Saints 11 times. Ominous.
Worrying, Benny, worrying.
13 more disposals, St Kilda's way, thrown back in. Marshall works it down to the front. Garcia's on the move. Hand pass just wide of Filippo. Should be able to run onto it. He cuts around Burton, and then on his left-hand side, sends it into the pocket. Sharman the target. And in the end, just had the height advantage on Gray, who was slightly off balance, and Cooper Sharman marks in the left forward pocket.
Well, I think it's what would concern Adam Uze is the ease at which they're stepping through oncoming pressure and traffic out of stoppage there. But then even Mateus Filippo had time for it to pick it up after a bounce and then just a little shimmy and then he's able to put it to the favoured side of Cooper Sharman. Just no pressure on the ball.
11-11 for Cooper Sharman this season, the mid-season pickup from South Australia a few years ago. Career best 34 goals last season as he comes in from the left forward pocket, likes it off the boot, and the Saints have the opening 4 goals of the match. Some ominous signs for Richmond this afternoon as they can't get the ball past halfway, and the Saints are making them pay. Fast starters 4-1-25 to the Tigers. Scoreless. Brett Delidio, Daniel Harford with you on ABC Sport.
Well, it's all really slow from Richmond. They get possession of the footy in the back half. There's no urgency or no intent to try and run at St Kilda. It's all very defensive, very reserved footy, and St Kilda are the best at that. They just sit off their opponents for a couple of metres, close the space, allow you to kick to the ones they want you to kick to, and then get it on the way back through. Richmond have done nothing to change the dynamic of the contest in the back half of the ground at all.
You've got to go fast.
You've got to run at them.
And back in your 1v1s up the field.
Yep.
At very least, get it out of bounds and start again. But they're stepping through clearance at the moment, so that doesn't really seem to work either.
Restart in the middle, free kick. Which way will it go? It'll go to Richmond.
Here's a chance.
Hayes Brown. Maybe a second inside 50 coming up. 12-1. The way the Saints is at the moment, gives it off to Short. He does drive Richmond inside 50. Marking contest down in front. Taranto burrows in, but he's got no room to work. Ball up, 25 out from the attacking goal here for the Tigers. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Bolter and Marshall. Marshall takes it out of the ruck, gets a handball away, ricochets back towards him. Live footy, Green gets it out for Richmond. Onto it, Flanders, stripped in the tackle, caught holding the ball. And a desperate tackle, lunging, has caught Flanders, and it's Lid's man.
Oh, yeah.
NRT, Noah Roberts-Thompson on debut with the defensive effort, 20 out directly in front.
Now, truth be told, myself and Chrissy Newman were having a good chat down there in the rooms with Noah before the game.
Yes.
And we said, you're a real chance, mate. I feel it. You're going to be first kick, first goal club.
Oh.
So,
no pressure.
No pressure.
Don't butcher it, son.
Come on, lad.
To join
Come on, Louis.
the elusive club, Noah Roberts-Thompson goes on debut. First kick, first goal. How good is that? And he's engulfed in a sea of yellow and black. 4-1-25, St Kilda. You're right. They lead Richmond 1 straight 6, 17 minutes into the opening term. Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford. But Lids, how proud are you of your man?
Mate, super proud for the kid. And then mum and dad, Kurt and Michelle, come up on screen there. You can see I think the eyes might have been welling up just a little bit to see
moisture.
Just to see your son, realise their childhood dream. I made mention of that to his dad as well. I said, mate, he goes, oh, geez, I hope so. How good would that be? But rap for the kid. You work with these boys for him a long way out, and then to see him make it and finally get to go out there and play their first game, huge for the lad.
Good on him.
Pick 54 in last year's draft from South Australia. NRT starts his career with a goal, joins the first kick, first goal club. Out of the middle of the ground, Garcia takes it for the Saints, streams to half forward, half pass to Windhager, links up to left half forward, Banfield into the pocket. Broad got a hand onto it as Higgins was trying to lead into space. And it goes out of play in the left forward pocket for the Saints. 4-1-25 to the Tigers, 1 straight 6. 18 minutes gone, opening quarter, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Umpire unfurls. TDK slaps it out towards Hall. Taranto takes it for Richmond, coughs it up. Higgins for St Kilda. Back to Filippo. Snaps on goal off a step. Hits the woodwork. Very nearly in the wrong pocket for a left footer, but they had a good run. St Kilda, you're right, leading by 20 points over Richmond late in the ordinary time of the opening term, 18 and a half minutes in.
Miller into short by foot, and now to Sonsi at half back. He's got Campbell Gray, if he can get it to him. Looks longer than that. Gray presents, can't take the mark. Here is Roberts-Thompson. He gets a hand pass forward. Burton almost tackled, just got a hand pass. No, it was a throw, the umpire said. So the free kick will go St Kilda's way at half back. Marcus Windhager to take it. Saints by 20 points, switches back inside the defensive 50. Jack Silvani marks. The former Blue looks for options up on the wing. Filippo's in space. He rises and marks, doesn't break stride. Gets the hand pass away. And Carroll releases Flanders. Sends a high ball into the pocket. Sharman went up, not intended for him. Higgins tries to race after it. Jaden Short gets back for the Tigers. Kicks across the face of goal, and Gray with a chance to clear.
Great. Handball for Short. Running from the back pocket. Handball to Hopper. He kicks beyond the defensive arc. It goes about 7.5 metres to Steely Green, but he's paid the mark. St Kilda by 20. Green retreats back inside a defensive 50.
This is where St Kilda win. They're happy with this all day. No dramas. Chip it around as much as you like. If you don't go forward, we'll eat you on transition.
Trainer back to Miller. Top of the defensive goal square. Off to Gray. Now Gray chips it up towards the wing. His kick is a neat one. Finds coming, fumbles the mark, sets himself a challenge at ground level, has it pinned to him, holding the ball. So the Saints back with it just forward of the wing. They lead 4-2 to 1 straight, 20 minutes into the opening stanza.
As Garcia takes the free kick, sends it out wide to Flanders. The former Sun has it. Still 2 good kicks out from goal. Goes very short. Lucky to give the benefit of the doubt. That's 15 and Carroll marks. Left half forward for the Saints, who lead by 20 points. Has options deep at the goal square in the end. Filippo tried to lead into the corridor, but Broad was away to that. Takes the intercepting mark. Kick left a little still to be done for Trezise, who dropped the mark. Still a chance here for the Saints. Hand pass comes out from Winhager, who got it from O'Connell. Centering ball looking for Tom de Koning, who takes the mark on a 45-degree angle. He's 40 metres out from goal.
It was a great kick, wasn't it? Half there. He looked up, Marcus Windhager, and he could see a sea of yellow straight in front of him, but scanned a little bit further because he had time and was able to pull that ball back across to where Flanders, I think, and de Koning as well, that were both lined up to take this mark. But it's a great kick.
The thing that impressed me with St Kilda just in this first quarter so far, and largely for the year as well, they work so hard to support the player contesting the ground ball to provide that +1 coverage. It was a situation when Windhager released. He was the +1 coverage.
3 goals, 6 for Tom de Koning so far this season. The boyhood Saint fan, he comes in and adds another one to their opening quarter dominance. St Kilda with 5 goals in the opening term to the Tigers 1. Euro 5-2-32 to Richmond 1 straight 6. 22 minutes gone, opening quarter. They answer immediately back after the Tigers goal at the other end. Daniel Harford and Brett Delavere, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, it's just a weight of numbers, isn't it, for the Saints inside their forward half, 15-2 inside forward 50s at the moment. It's a bit of a festival in the forward half, and the Tigers just cannot get back out. They've tried a couple of times to get the ball back through the corridor. If they can do that and get some flow straight away rather than go back over the mark, I think they'll be able to get some channels open through the middle of the ground that might stretch St Kilda's defence. So I encourage them to keep doing that, but St Kilda are absolutely on top in just about every category here.
Equalled their highest scoring opening term of 2026 in terms of goals. Euro St Kilda here today as the ball spits out after the restart to Taranto. Snaps up to half forward Campbell. Clean take. Gives it off to Roberts Thompson again, who fires on goal.
No way.
2 kicks, 2 goals. Double up. NRT, if you don't mind. And it's back to 20 points. 5-2-32 St Kilda. Richmond 2 straight 12. 22.5 minutes into the first term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. There's a few in the 1 kick, first goal club. There's very few in the 2 kicks, 2 goal club.
Now we're getting somewhere.
We're getting into the metro territory. Daniel Metropolis, I think it was first 4 kicks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
4 goals.
Right, yeah.
We'll have to get him into the WhatsApp group. Well, I love their ability just to get it out of the congestion. And Seth Campbell, his score involvement work that he does and provides a Richmond forward half on a battling side. Clean take, clean hands, and a great finish from young Noah.
Dockers by 49 points across town at the MCG, looking for a 9th consecutive win. De Koning lost his footing, but was able to get it down. Hall out of the middle. It's a textbook clearance, and then the lead-up mark was dropped in the end. Higgins makes his case. Still alive for the Saints. Hill, look away hand pass to Henry. A dash of pace. A centering ball towards the top of the goal square. Banfield's there with Cooper Sharman. Neither can take the mark. At ground level, it's Gray who picks it up for the Tigers as they try and run their way out of defence. A 1-2 as Nick Gloston feeds the hand pass away. And now to half back with a kick from the Tigers. Robert Thompson up towards Tom Lynch. He's outnumbered 2-on-1. Scraps away at ground level. Wilkie tries to lock him up. Burton with a hand pass over his head. Roberts Thompson knocks it on for the Tigers. Tries to get in the advantage of Campbell. It's Winhager though for the Saints. Hand pass away to Silvani. Cuts through a couple of tacklers. The long-time defender sends it up the wing. Miller had first touch to it. De Koning wrestled out of it. Hand pass comes out from Filippo for the Saints. Down low for Hall. Can't break away.
Yeah,
Might have taken high, and the free kick will go the way of the Saints on the wing.
Big half from De Koning there. It's 2-on-1 against. got the ball to ground, got some support run.
Ball comes infield, finds Marshall, who kicks inside 50. A long searching kick, and the mark taken by O'Connell, 45 metres out. On a slightly better than 45-degree angle. It was a searching kick from Marshall.
The Tigers actually had the Saints. I've got it mixed up here again. Bolt actually had Philippou tackled and had him tied up, but he just allowed that ball to drop out, which then drew in Hall, got the high free kick, and then they've just opened him up. Their ability to go back through the corridor has been really, really good so far, the Saints.
Liam O'Connell, 10th game, yet to kick a goal in league footy. Out to the right, and Ray elects to punch. It skims off his knuckles and just trickles out. Right forward pocket here for the Saints. They lead it by 20. 25 minutes travelled opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
We get Maisie to keep an eye on Jack Higgins, who comes to the bench. A warm welcome to our listeners who have joined us from the MCG, where the Dockers were comfortable winners over the Bombers. Here at Docklands, it's the Saints who lead by 20 points over the Tigers. 5-2-32 to Richmond, 2 straight 12. Matt Clinch and Ben Cameron calling the action. Daniel Harford and Brett Delidio, your experts on ABC Sport, with Andrew Mays on the boundary. The Saints kicked the opening 4 goals in the first 15 minutes of the match, and then 2 goals for Noel Roberts-Thompson on debut for the Tigers, has wrestled back a bit of momentum.
What's he doing in RT? He's getting up the ground trying to get involved in possession chains.
Jack Silvani takes an intercepting mark from the kick from Nick Bostone. He turns it straight back over, and the reliable number 1 for the Richmond side marks in the right back pocket.
Roberts-Thompson, the second cousin to Lewis Roberts-Thompson. He did kick his 2 goals with his first 2 kicks in AFL footy, but he's wasted his third just to kick around the ground. St Kilda win it back. Burns takes the footy, centre half forward, dinks a kick inside 50. Unable to take the mark there. Garcia goes again at ground level, picks it up, handball back into the mark. Burns goes again, off to Wilson. Now Windhager likes the look from 45 out on the full.
A lot of opportunities still going begging for the Saints so far. It could have been an even more impressive scoreline.
Andrew Mays on the boundary.
It's a left knee issue for Jack Higgins. He is very frustrated going through some stretches at the moment with the physio. I'll keep you updated.
Thank you, Maisie. Jaden Short tries to get the Tigers out of defence up to the wing, where O'Connell runs out of room, and it goes out of play for a boundary throw-in. So it was 10 of the first 11 inside 50s. The way of the Saints, it's 19-3 at the 27-minute mark of the opening term. The first of 2 weeks of Sir Doug Nicholls round, so the Saints in their specially designed First Nations jumper, which is in honour of Brad Hill this afternoon. Windhager tries to break away, tackled by Grill. He has the footy locked to his chest, and the umpire will ball it up. The Saints 5-2-32 to the Tigers 2 straight 12.
Put aloft by the umpire. Bolter takes it out of the ruck, hurries a kick up to half forward. Stocker there for the Saints. Back in possession, handball forward, misses the target of Hall, and Hopper does a little pirouette out of bounds. Thrown on the wing, city side of the ground here at Docklands.
81% time in forward half for the Saints so far this term. That's a lot, just for those listening.
Daniel Harford, former Hawk and Blue, alongside the Richmond champion Brett Delidio. Throwing on that wing to the logo. Slapping it down, Bolter very neatly. Away to Sonzi, gets a handball away towards Cumming. Back to Sonzi, now Grill, forward handball to Cumming. He works back infield, he's caught by Caminiti. Wrenched down in the tackle, holding the ball.
This is what they do. They work hard off the ball, the Saints.
Caminiti works it across half back. Cal Wilkie is out there. Got through training during the week, so his 165th consecutive game after copping a knee from Ben King last week against the Suns. Carroll takes the mark from Dougal Howard. They switch it out to Jack Silvani, who marks on the broadcast side, and now inboard to Darcy Wilson. Possession number 93 coming up for St Kilda. The Tigers with just 70 this afternoon. So St Kilda are able to play this uncontested marking game. As Jack Silvani gets involved once more, Tigers push everyone into their back half. So Sinclair runs into space. Silvani honours that. He doesn't break stride as he looks up inside 50. Marshall's the target. Noel Bolter got up early. Marshall at the back. Hugs it to his chest. Well, Bolter rised but failed to get a touch to it. And in the end, the player keeping his eyes on the footy is rewarded by claiming the mark.
Bit of a tendency to do that every now and again, Noel Bolter, doesn't he? Just jump up and not do much.
Had to clear Trainer as well, so got past 2 Tigers.
Very frustrating to watch sometimes, the big fella.
And Rowan Marshall couldn't believe his luck that he ended up in his grasp, just keeping his eye on the footy at the back, clunging it to his right-hand shoulder. In the right forward pocket on a 45-degree angle. Marshall with a chance to try and put through his 5th goal this season. It starts right to left and through for a minor score. 5-3, the Saints to the Tigers, 2 straight 12. Approaching half an hour gone in the opening term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Shaw taking the kick in, pokes it to the pocket for Vlosten. He moves it beyond the arc to Trezise. Richmond in there. Yellow jumper with a black sash, white shorts, and Kilda in a jumper that has a striking resemblance to their normal home jumper, but specially designed for Sir Doug Nicholls' round, as Clinchy mentioned. And work it to Miller and out to Seth Campbell. Still inside the defensive arc. He goes for a little trot beyond it now. Close to the boundary line, city side of the ground. Kicks forward of the logo. Up they go. Through the hands of the launching player there and force it. Ball hits the deck and St Kilda's numbers are there. McRae gets it away to O'Connell. Back to Wilkie. Retreats inside the defensive arc and finds Silvani. Saints by 21 late in this first term.
Silvani defensively to O'Connell as they try and find an avenue out. Sinclair switches it to Darcy Wilson, who was the star last week in their loss to the Gold Coast Suns. Sends it up to Filippo, who takes the mark down low. Filippo looks up towards half forward. Marshall once more looks to present. Gray's there trying to make the spoil. Trainer had it and lost it. That's enough for Henry to gather. Hand pass to Marshall. Kick is smothered. Ricochets out to Jaden Short. Hand pass away to Taranto. Trezise almost run down by McRae. Gathered by Rowan Marshall, and the siren sounds for quarter time. Just as Max Hall was about to load up on a shot on goal. And it's the Saints who hold a 21-point lead at quarter time. Just short of their best start so far this season. They kicked 5 goals, 2 against the Gold Coast Suns and 5 goals, 4 against GWS. So 5-3-33 in this opening term against the Tigers. 2 straight 12, in which they had 21 of the opening 24 inside 50s. The goal kickers for the Saints: Tom De Koning, Sharman, Caminiti, Filippo and Hall. While for the Tigers, their 2 goals have come through debutant Noah Roberts-Thompson, who booted 2 goals with his first 2 kicks in AFL footy. While earlier across town at Dockland, earlier across town at the MCG, in front of 25,100 fans, it was the Dockers 16-8-104, Wally up defeating the Bombers 8-13-61. I don't know whether Lids and half saw Brad Scott rather frustrated at quarter time, but he certainly gave it to his Chargers at the MCG. You can join us on the SMS 0437 774 774. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
This is going to be quite a ride. Every dream restoration starts with something worth holding on to.
We were in love. We figured we'd work it out.
Restoration Australia.
This is magnificent.
Back May 21 on ABC TV and ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nicholls' round with ABC Sport.
Burns gets a half pass forward. Quick half pass to Wilson and now to Max Hall. Sends it inside 50. Caminiti presents. Can't take the mark. Boston tries to knock it clear. Filippo, clean pickup. Jags it on his left. Fires on goal. They've got the opening to the Saints. Anthony Caminiti has it right up against the boundary in the right forward pocket. Only about 15 metres out, but this will take his best check side effort as he tries to open up the angle. It's a good effort. Made it look easy.
The Saints 3-1-19. Richmond yet to score. They've gone inside 50 once the Tigers. Saints 11 times. Ominous.
Worrying. Penny, worrying.
11-11 for Cooper Sharman. Career best 34 goals last season as he comes in from the left forward pocket, likes it off the boot. And the Saints have the opening 4 goals of the match.
To join
the
elusive club, Noah Roberts-Thompson goes on debut. First kick, first goal. How good is that?
3 goals, 6 for Tom De Koning so far this season. The boyhood Saint fan, he comes in and adds another one to their opening quarter dominance.
Ball spits out after the restart to Taranto. Snaps up to half forward Campbell. Clean take, gives it off to Roberts-Thompson again, who fires on goal.
No way.
2 kicks, 2 goals. Double up.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls' round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
Quarter time at Docklands. It's the Saints Euro leading by 21 points, 5-3-33 to the Tigers, 2 straight 12. And a debutant, Noah Roberts-Thompson, kicked the opening 2 goals for the Tigers. The shining light with his first 2 kicks in AFL footy. He's managed by Britt Delidio alongside Daniel Harford, Matt Clinch and Ben Cameron calling the action. Andrew Mays down on the boundary, keeping us across the injury concern for Jack Higgins in that opening term. The thoughts of Half and Lids on what they saw at St Kilda, 21-point lead.
Well, the Saints were awesome, is what they were. Their defensive pressure was great. Their ability to win contest and clearance, they were plus 19, almost double Richmond, 39-20 in contested possession that first quarter, 13-8 clearances. As a result, 22-3 inside 50s, 81% inside forward half. Good luck if you're playing in a
Slow down, decipher all that for us.
Well, it means Richmond haven't got the ball.
They haven't touched it at all.
They can't get the ball in their forward half. Nah. And the problem for Richmond is, as we maybe being a bit facetious, the problem with the Tigers is their 2 goals came from centre bounce clearance.
Yep.
One from a free kick. So they haven't found any way to, with their ball movement, find a system past St Kilda at the moment. So that's the challenge for Adamuze right now, is to find a way outside of centre bounce to move the ball from your defensive half to your attacking forward 50 area, so you can at least give yourself a chance to score. St Kilda's pressure's been immaculate. They play a one-on-one defence across the ground. They'll hold a couple of guys through the middle if they've got numbers inside their forward 50. They don't go in and crowd it up. They'll let those guys get to work, and then they'll be there to be the wall when the ball comes back out. And Richmond so far haven't found the answer. So Roscoe would be wrapped. Ooze would be flat as attack.
Yep. I think they've just got to be brave, don't they, the Tigers, with their ball movement, particularly out of the back half. They're, as you said, they're going slow, but that's as a result of the system that St Kilda play. And the 3 things in life, death, taxes, and Ross Lyon, drilled down team. They know how to set up, don't they?
Correct.
But that's what he demands, and you can see the way that they're just perfectly spaced apart. They hand over when they need to. You can't really run, but you've got to be brave with your ball movement. Either that or outnumber at a source and just go long to that contest and try and win it over there. But at this point in time, even if they do go to clearance, the Saints players, they're outnumbering. They're getting there first, and then they're waltzing through tackles, opening up the corridor, and they're getting easy access.
So that's a really good point you raise, I reckon, for the listeners at home, in terms of the way that Richmond can play. So they make the ground big and run, or they play narrow and congest numbers and just try and lock it up and just march the ball, kick by kick forward into their forward half of the ground and give themselves a chance to score. At the moment, they've sort of caught in between both systems. That when they get the ball back, they're trying to make the ground really big. They spread to all the parts of Docklands, but then they play really narrow. So they're taking all their numbers or possibility of flow are gone because they play to narrow numbers that are being matched up or outnumbered by St Kilda's defensive system. So that's the challenge at the moment, to identify that. But the Saints should be given a heap of credit. I mean, they've come back from Darwin with unbelievable energy. This has been a scintillating first quarter. I can't remember a quarter as dominant as this in the year so far from anyone.
Makes it easy, though, when there's not a heap of pressure on the footy.
True.
I mean, when you can set up defensively and conserve your energy when a team's not willing to buy it off too much. They just go side to side. Okay, I'll just go 5 metres this way.
Yep.
And go back the other side. Okay, 5 metres back the other way. You're not exactly adding 150 metres to the GPS at high intensity, are you? So they do look sharp. They have been sharp. Their pressure's up. Their inside 50s are great. But the Tigers just need a little lift in that area.
So 21-point lead. Euro, the Saints way at quarter time as we get the second quarter underway. Marshall up against Hayes Brown. And it's Hayes Brown who tries to take it out of the ruck but loses possession. Hall takes it for the Saints. High ball inside 50. Caminiti and Sharman both stay down. Spoiled away by the Richmond defence. Marshall gathers. Hand pass away to Wilson. Feeds a hand pass to Garcia. Looks up. He only has Cooper Sharman in the pocket. He spotted him in the corner of his eye. That is a superb kick, and Sharman hugs it to his chest. He marks about 15 metres out in the right forward pocket.
Because he didn't have a heap of time. He was on his open side. It was rolling out to his left foot, which was perfect. But he had to just know that someone was going to be there or look and see. He didn't know they were going to be there because of the way the ball had transitioned out. But he knew. He looked up and he just saw Cooper Sharman at the corner of his eye, pulled it across his body and hit him on the chest. A brilliant kick.
A chance for the Saints to kick the opening goal of the second quarter inside a minute. And Cooper Sharman puts through his second from the right forward pocket. And the Saints continue on after 2 of the last 3 goals in the match, the way of Richmond. It's out to a 27-point lead, as wide as it's been so far this afternoon. Euro 6-3-39 to the Tigers, 2 straight 12 ahead of Lids. And Daniel Harford, Andrew Mays down on the boundary. Do we think Jack Higgins this afternoon, as he's going through a process in front of you, is it likely to continue?
If you'd asked me a minute ago, Clinch, I would have said he was no chance. He spent the entire quarter-time break downstairs, obviously getting treatment on that knee issue he had in the first. He's come up, done a couple of run-throughs and looked far better than he did before the quarter-time break. So still a bit of hope that he's back out there this afternoon.
Thanks, Maisie. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Round 10 from the Docklands. Up it goes, Marshall palming it down, trying to get after it. Hopper shovels out a handball, gets it moving forward, but St Kilda are there though. Garcia can't trap it. Allows in Richmond, coming, zigging, zagging, kicking into the pocket here for the Tigers. Bolter and Silvani, and it's the latter who marks. The left back pocket here for the Saints.
Strong body work from Silvani, that's experience.
27 points to the good. Exiting kick. Trezise in front of Burns. Past both of them it goes. Up towards the wing. Bouncing ball. Getting there first Garcia for St Kilda. Handball to Filippo. Caught in the tackle holding the ball. Free kick going to Ross here of Richmond. Right beneath us. 27 points, 2.5 minutes into the second is St Kilda's lead.
Jack Ross kicks it into the pocket and Jonty Fall leads up and takes the mark. He was somewhat uncontested really in the end. Tom Lynch provided a good block and just presented in front position. He's out to the right. He'll kick from just inside 50.
You don't often see that, do you? Cal Wilkie being led up to the footy.
Yep.
It's usually him leading his opponent.
I think Tom Lynch might have scragged him a little bit and probably got away with one.
Got away with one, you think?
Yeah, handful of jumper there, I reckon.
It just goes to show how important an older player, an experienced player is for these younger players, especially up forward, young key developing forwards. He's
tried to work his goal kicking out. Jonty Fawley has 5-5 for the season as he strikes this rather well, but it does drift from left to right and through for a minor score. And the challenge, 10 goals, 24 throughout his career, but he is a promising prospect for Richmond fans, standing at 195 centimetres. The 20-year-old, it's a 26-point lead the Saints' way.
Flip that around and it's a little bit of a different story as Sinclair exits with the kick in to Wilkie, who stabs it back to Sinclair. Saints beyond their defensive 50. Sinclair off for a little run, kicks out wide looking for Burns. Trezise gets in front of it, double fisted out of play. Throwing on the wing.
Never understood the double fist.
Rather go for the mark, Lids?
Oh, please. Surely you mark it. If you can get 2 fists to it, surely you can get 2 hands to it.
I'm okay with that.
Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
10-24 is bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
That kicking ratio.
Marshall punching it forward as both rucks go to ground. Trucking it, Trezise wins it for Richmond. Handball along the boundary line and Hopper knocks it out. Another throw in right in front of Andrew Mays.
Jack Higgins just come from what seems about the 7th or 8th run there. He's given the thumbs up, so he's confident he can go back on. Meanwhile, Campbell Gray going downstairs just to have a lower leg injury tested out.
We're going to keep an eye on Maisie Tom de Koning, who looked a little ginger at quarter time. As the Tigers try and take it from the stoppage, hand pass comes out to Trezise. It's a quick hand pass away to Cumming and now to Taranto. They try and work it through the gauntlet as Hayes Brown feeds a hand pass away. Hopper's kick towards Bolter at half forward. There's 3 Tigers in the pack. Good. And in the end, Jonty Fall takes it in front of Jack Ross. Fall looks to try and come into the middle of the ground. Vlauston's the target. Had to get it past Filippo. Spills out the way of Grill, who lines on goal. And misses to the right-hand side.
That's a bit of start.
Already they're getting more inside 50s almost than they did in the first quarter. They've had 3-1.
Saints get it moving quickly. Handball from Howard away to Wilkie. Off towards Flanders. Now on the back flank here, St Kilda. Off to Filippo, back to Flanders. Richmond applying the pressure. Brad Hill, there's a free kick. Come back to Flanders, who handballs it straight back to Hill. He likes the look of the switch. One back flank to the other. Away to Silvani. He pokes it short for a leading Wilson. Just backward of the logo. Saints in possession. They lead by 25. Richmond better in the second term. Infield to Stocker. Lifts the handball over the top to the runner Flanders. Kicks inside 50 now. Looking for Sharman. Trezise gets back. Intercept mark for Richmond. Back pocket. Saints 25 points to the good. 5 minutes played second term.
So this is the first time we'll see them try and exit their D50 with any level of fluency and efficiency here, the Tigers, for the second quarter.
Vlauston got it from Trezise. Could have given the hand pass around the back. That option dries up now. So 25-point lead, Euro Oaks way. Kicks out towards Hopper, who marks it left half back.
Better, fastest movement.
A kick over the top to Cumming, who marks. Thought about the hand pass again to Vlauston. Kicks it out wider to the city side. And a chance to try and build here. A kick down low. Hayes Brown is able to just hang on to the mark from Richco. And Hayes Brown, the big ruck, sends it long inside 50. It won't get to Lynch. Bolter in front, making a peel. He was taken high. Spills towards the pocket where it's tapped by Flanders, looking for Silvani. Hand pass chopped off by Lynch. Gets the hand pass away. Tim Taranto around his body. Made something out of nothing from the left forward pocket. And the Tigers score their third goal. The second of this second quarter through 7 minutes, and the margin is back to 19 points. Your Oaks way, 6-3-39 to Richmond, 3-2-20. Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, I reckon Noel Bolton needs to stop putting so much mayo onto his attempted free kicks. He might actually draw one. He has been manhandled a couple of times. I've been impressed by young Fall and his ability to follow up and stay involved. It was him who picked up the ground ball, spat it out to Tommy Lynch. Timmy Taranto just continues to work and grind, doesn't he, as a midfielder, inside mid for the Tigers. You know what you're going to get every single time he puts the boots on. Huge work rate. And he's actually been a pretty classy finisher around goals. They don't always spin beautifully half, but they do. They go through the big sticks.
Started D50 chain of possession to goal, so that's a big improvement from what we saw in the first quarter.
Haven't been able to kick back-to-back goals today, Richmond, and St Kilda take it out of the middle. Windhager chips it inside 50. Onto it quickly, though, Vlosten gives it off to Rechko. Clearing kick up to the wing, a turnover. Mark taken by Carroll. St Kilda back the other way. Kick to half forward. Taken by Sharman. Skips back off the mark quickly. So looks inside 50. Now sends it into the pocket. His kick. Can't quite find the target there. Launching up in the pocket. And so a throw in left forward pocket for St Kilda. Banfield it was going up. We're going to take the mark. Left forward pocket here for the Saints. They lead by 19. 8 minutes into this second term.
The voice of Ben Cameron alongside Matt Clinch calling the action. Andrew Mays on the boundary. Daniel Harford and Brett Delidio, your Sunday call team on ABC Sport. Bolter got it down to the front. Cooper Sharman's hand pass. Chopped off. Windhager tackled in the end by Vlostone. Ball spills clear. Carroll can't get a loose hand pass away. Now he gets it back to Banfield. Around his body on Deboo. High ball inside 50. Have a go at that, Jack Higgins. In the end, Bolter works his way to the front. Knocked it down. They haven't dealt with it yet, though. Campbell tries to knock it on to Vlostone. Hand pass to Broad. Now it's Grill's challenge. He got it forward. And they run the gauntlet. Burton gets a hand pass away. Got it back. And now through the middle of the ground. He somehow got a hand pass forward, but Dougal Howe was waiting to chop it off. And he gets a hand pass away to Windhager. Chips it into the middle of the ground, and Jack Silvani marks.
And the Saints will go with the big V switch. Silvani back to Wilkie. Marks inside defensive 50. Kicks out to the wing on the City side of the ground for Hill. He pokes it on short. Gets it back from Carroll. Runs forward to the wing now for the Saints. Tries to chip it short for McRae. Gathers on the bounce. Handball back to Hill. Hill, his kick knocked down by Campbell. Richmond ball back flank. He'll kick infield for Hopper and just gets it to him. So Jacob Hopper averaging a turnover every 3.7 disposals this year, which is not a stat he would like, as he kicks up towards the wing through the hands of Silvani. Works out for Tom Lynch. Tries to take on Sinclair. And then works himself into trouble. Turns it over. Flanders ball for St Kilda.
Got the hand pass away to Brad Hill, who tries to get it up the wing. Max Hall leads up, presents and hogs it to his chest. Has it centre wing on the outer side. St Kilda by 19 points. Euro started promisingly with 4 goals on the bounce. The high kick inside 50. Caminiti's the deepest target. Vlostone in front, brought it down. The rover is Marshall. His hand pass looking for O'Connell. Chopped off. Spills out the way of Sinclair. His kick is smothered. Campbell working across half back. Had prior opportunity. Didn't take the hand pass, and now he'll pay the cost. Tackled and penalised holding the ball, and Liam O'Connell will take it for the Saints.
1 goal apiece in this second term. O'Connell comes infield to McRae. Mark set 60 out from home. McRae tries to pinpoint it on the lead, and big Rowan Marshall, as full-chested as always, comes out and marks. 40 out directly in front.
There's a sizzling little pass there, wasn't it, from Jack McRae? How that unfolded, though, if you're here watching it live, we didn't able to see that from a bird's eye point of view. Jack Higgins led up through that space first, but then he continued to move. He didn't just stop after finishing his lead, which then dragged the Richmond opponent out while Marshall comes into that space. Nice little easy kick.
Rowan Marshall, boot to ball from 45. It's out to the right. So St Kilda leading by 20 points. Andrew Mays.
Fortunately for Richmond, another youngster gone for the afternoon, and he'll be out for a couple of weeks. Campbell Gray, ice on that right hamstring. His afternoon is over.
Oh, goodness.
Thanks, Maisie. Not what Richmond need with 18 on the injury list. Add another one to that. Didn't have a AFL-listed player who featured in their VFL yesterday. So they went down narrowly to Box Hill. That's a challenge for Adam Uze. Seth Campbell takes the mark as Trainer and Rechko combine to work it up the wing for the Tigers.
Still got a mouthguard, Lids?
Yeah. So what happens
I
there?
actually do.
They are, a few weeks ago, they had 3 AFL-listed players playing in the VFL. That's how close to the bone they are.
Well, they're none yesterday.
Yeah.
Roberts Thompson on the wing, kicks up towards half forward, a couple of goals for him on debut, up to half forward, Ross is the crummer, dribbles a kick inside 50, Sinclair, loose gather, loose the hand pass, he has to go back and try and re-win it, hand pass to Dougal Howard, he'll kick off the outside of the boot, got good purchase to clear it in the middle of the ground, but the Tigers are well set, and Trainer takes the mark in front of Ryan Burns, and he's just being held up a little bit as the Bronx cheers came for 50, not given, short to Trezise for Richmond. Honours the lead of Jack Ross. He marks, and Kilda have everyone in front of Richmond as they try and find a way inside forward 50. So Ross on the right boot, sends it long and direct, lynches the target. Bolter got hands to it, juggles the mark on the second bite.
So it looks to me, Lids, and check me if I'm wrong here, that they're talking about that scenario you spoke about at quarter time, that they're playing a bit more narrow, and they're getting numbers to have representation forward of the ball. Rather than kicking a one-on-ones or one-on-twos against, they're kicking the numbers and clogging it up or hoping for a moment like that from Noah Bolter where they pinch one forward of the footy. It seems to be working pretty well.
Noah Bolter without Toby Nankervis is spending a lot of time in the ruck. Kicked 3 goals in their win over the West Coast Eagles. Almost directly in front, 35 metres out, gets rhythm and bangs it through. Last 2 goals of the match the way of the Tigers. First time in the match they've kicked consecutive goals. And the Saints' Euro Oaks lead is cut back once more. It's a 14-point lead, 6-4-40 to the Tigers, 4-2-26. So after Saints led by 21 points at quarter time, a bit more even in this second quarter, especially the inside 50s, which is
everything's pretty even right across the board.
7-7.
Yeah, everything's pretty even right across the board. They're able to get their hands on the footy and actually control it a little bit more too, half. That's ultimately what's holding him in this game, whereas the first quarter was very free-flowing and the Saints just had their way, didn't they? But he's a multi-faceted player, isn't he, Noah Bolter? Some good, some bad, but he plays all 3 lines. He'll give you some effort sometimes and not so much on others, but what he does do is keep you entertained.
No doubt about that.
Back in the middle, going early, Bolter, beautiful tap from De Koning for St Kilda, down to Garcia, McRae. He receives it, kicks inside 50, Sharman coming at the footy. Lots of it, doesn't quite hold on to the mark. Vlosten goes in, there's a whistle, holding free kick. And it will go to Richmond. Vlosten, the recipient. So just on Richmond, I know they had no one in the VFL yesterday, but McKelty Lafau managed. Samson Ryan and Caleb Smith, the emergencies, as Vlosten kicks up to the wing and Carroll takes it back with the intercept mark for St Kilda on the wing.
So what does happen if they run out of players?
So this is what I'm thinking. If they lose another couple, they won't be able to field emergencies next week unless they get some back off the injury list.
It's not 100% sure where their injury list is at. I think Toby Nankervis might have had a little hiccup just recently too, didn't he?
So as it stands ahead of this afternoon's game, they had 18 on the injury list, had Campbell Gray, so that's 19 now. You know, the Essendon side had a fair few injuries last season. It's one of the great challenges as Carroll for the Saints sends it up towards half forward. Garcia marks. You're through the middle of the ground as Flanders has it. So Kilda trying to find an avenue here as De Koning leads out. Can't take the mark. Off hands. Vlosten kicks off the outside of the boot. It may work in the end. A bouncing ball. As tackle brought down. Roberts Thompson got a hand pass away as De Koning feeds Filippo off balance. Jams it on the boot. Just doesn't quite carry the journey as it's punched through on the behind line for a minor score. You're out by 15 points as Andrew Mays is down on the boundary.
In Clinchy, you mentioned Tom De Koning before. No injury concern there. Just spent the last couple of minutes of the first quarter on the bench, then didn't come on until the 14-minute mark of this second quarter.
Short with the kick-in duties. Long to a contest. De Koning juggling it. Not paid the mark. Picked up by a fall. Back feeds a handball away towards Rechko. High up and under towards the wing for Richmond. Bouncing ball for Taranto. Gathers it. Tackled there by Wilkie. Nowhere to go. Just on Richmond's injury list, getting back to that. So Jasper Algorithm as we like to know him, and Tom Sims both due back next week.
Oh, that's good.
So that is, they will get a couple back, but...
And Morris Riel is the other one that's 1-2. So maybe some relief coming, but they can't keep losing players. As Ryan Burns tries to send it up towards half forward. Taking short tackle, but got a hand pass away. Works it back to Steely Green. Through traffic, Miller to Broad, little fumble, hand pass over the top to Ross, cleverly slaps it into the path of Steely Green, can't take possession, Caminiti gets a hand pass away. Garcia for the Saints, through the middle of the ground, hand pass to Burns, tries to feed a hand pass out in front of Cooper Sharman. McRae gathered it, tried to give a hand pass away to the back of Sharman, and it goes out of play. The two not quite on the same page. No damage done, a boundary throw in between wing and half forward for Europe. They lead by 15 points, but it's the Tigers who's kicked 2-1 in this second quarter.
Right back in at Richmond.
And outside that first minute, they've looked probably the better team, in fairness, this second term.
So Kilda kicked the first 4 goals of the game. It was 4-1-25 to no score. Under Koning following up and punching it forward, but can't get it past Richko, who gets to his feet from the bottom of the pack. Another ball up.
The spanner. We love the Richko spanner.
De Koning getting it moving forward again. Richko goes in, ends up with Burns of St Kilda. Hurries a kick up to half forward, short tracking it back. Richmond ball in their defensive 50, slipping over Trainer. Gives it back to Short. There's a whistle somewhere here. What's this for?
Back to Trainer.
Got him high on the way through, or pushed him in the back.
Take your pick.
In the back it was.
A bit overzealous, big Caminiti, wasn't he?
Yeah, we didn't need to do that.
Luke Trainer, just speaking, I mentioned that Richmond had 3 players in the VFL in round 8. He was one of the 3. You'd be flat if you were playing VFL at the moment with the injury list, wouldn't you?
You'd be questioning it, I reckon.
Where am I at?
St Kilda by 15, 18 minutes into the second term.
Trainers kick on the instep, looking for Jonty Fall. Can't take the mark. Silvani off hands for the Saints to Garcia. To Wilson on the run from 50. He's a classy ball user, and he bangs it through easy as you like. A little bit of space, and he'll make you pay, despite the lunging effort from Jonty Fall. Europe with their second goal of this second quarter. The margin back out to 21 points. 7-5-47 the Saints to the Tigers, 4-2-26. And he is demanding a big contract, Lids, potentially at season's end, as part of the St Kilda list build is to try and target the free agents and hang on to those players they've drafted. He was a high draft pick for them, and is currently signed in his 3rd year to the end of this season.
Yep. What aboutism? What about me?
You think? Yeah, well, he's a modern player, isn't he? He's got endurance, he's got speed, beautiful user. And he's added goal kicking to his game, but not just one goal, multiple goals. I think that's what I love most about young Darcy, and whether he stays at St Kilda or explores his options, we'll find out later.
I'm not being critical of him either. They're throwing around some cash. So he's saying, show me the money. He's out of the middle, goes St Kilda again. De Koning, away to Garcia, to Filippo with the finish.
He knew it straight away too.
From range. And St Kilda snatch back control of this match. They lead by an equal game high 27 points. 8-5-53 plays 4-2-26, 19 and a half into the second.
I'm on Filippo watch for handballs given versus shots taken. I have a feeling he's very KB-like. When he sees the big sticks, and why not? When you got one step power like that and knock it through, 3 or 4 metres back over the line.
He did have a runner though. He had 2 runners inside. He could have fed the ball through.
Not the first time today we've seen it, nor the last couple of weeks. But
you live and die by the sword in those scenarios though. If you get the job done, then the coach is happy. If you don't, then he's going to rip you a new one.
Come and have a chat with me, lad.
Daniel Harford and Brett Delidio, your experts. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Saints slam on 2 goals in a matter of minutes. De Koning got it down to Hall on the move. Hand pass away to Garcia. Bursting out of the middle of the ground. The kick is wide of Caminiti. Miller gathers. Players set upon him. Higgins brought the pressure. Caminiti as well. Back to Broad. Runs the boundary line. He might have been happy to step across and a throw in.
What about that centre bounce clearance?
That one up on the whiteboard half. That's how they look.
Max Hall's ability to get the ball one-handed, flat knacker with bodies coming in and then feed it out to Flanders. Brilliant stuff. Oh, sorry, Garcia it was.
27-point lead to St Kilda. Forward 50 stoppage. De Koning taking it out of the ruck. Handball to Garcia.
He's having a
bit close to the boundary line.
Day 2, Hugo. It's been a very nice afternoon so far for the Saints when he had 15.
Did the game here last year where he was subbed out early in the second quarter by Ross Lyon.
Yes, that's right. He was too.
Won the Rising Star the following week and it's pushed on. Free kick to Hayes Brown of Richmond. Takes the kick in the back pocket, finds Miller just in front of the goal mouth defensively for Richmond. Pokes it to Vloston. St Kilda 27-point lead, 21 minutes into the second term.
Lawson chips it out to Trezise, takes the mark at right half back. The Tigers 4-2-26, trailing Euro 8-5-53. As Richmond through, Hopper runs his full measure at right half back, up towards Tom Lynch. Howard works his way to the front, Silvani spoils from behind. Carroll tries to knock it on. Rico gets a little soccer away. Campbell can't gather it cleanly. He now does have it at half forward, feeds the hand pass back. Cumming, good composure into the pocket. Kick is just a little wide in the end. And it bounces out of play in front of Fawcett for a boundary throw in the right forward pocket. Those centre bounce clearances in this quarter, it's 5-1 the way of the Saints, and that's one aspect where they can really have some fun with.
Yeah, but they're not pressure ones, are they, where they have to go
Not
back
really.
and hook it around the body? They're coming out the front.
Thrown in the pocket for Richmond. Lynch wins it down. Taranto snaps it towards full forward. Full fighting after it. Gets a soccer away, and Wilkie saw. Ball into the pocket. St Kilda swarm and apply the pressure. Ball up deep in the left forward pocket for Richmond.
He's still a bit ginger, Kel Wilkie.
Oh, got a bump. Maybe right on that. Sore back. Deep in the left forward pocket here for the Tigers. Marshall knocks it down. Taranto coming through, gets it on the boot. Snaps a goal. No. Just across the face. Very nearly for Timmy Taranto. Yoroke, St Kilda's lead back to 26 points. 5 minutes of game time left in the first half.
Cal Wilkie brings Euro back into play. Sinclair takes the mark. The co-captains combining up the wing. Dropping the mark was Trainer. Trezise trying to clean it up. Gave it back to Trainer. Kick partially smothered. Ricochets out to Koning. Tries to keep it alive. Good pick up from Filippo. Hand pass to Hall. They're away here. Hill gives it away. Garcia streaming inside 50. Another one. As he has the four fingers up in celebration. They are flat three. I was side on. 3 fingers up in celebration. A-OK. Thanks, Lids. They are fast and deadly when they are breaking inside forward 50, the Saints, and that's going to be the challenge for the Tigers. A 32-point lead, Euroke's way. 9-5-59 to the Tigers, 4-3-27. I'm counting fingers on the replay. Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford with you on ABC Sport.
Well, they love a transition turnover, the Saints, and then get the ball back in their front half and just surge it in. Higgins was riding all by himself into the forward 50 as well while all this is unfolding. Garcia, we talked about before, he's having a really good game so far. A lot of the footy now hit the scoreboard as well. Just an indecision by Luke Trainer for the Tigers cross half back. Just needed to feed the ball to his running mate rather than try and kick it under pressure, cross hands.
Number one contested ball player for St Kilda the last 6 weeks, Hugo Garcia. Out of the middle, Taranto hacks it on and falls in his lap. He marks 49.5 metres out, slightly left of centre.
This is probably a big reason why his inaccuracy comes to fruition. 10-24, I think we were speaking about before. He's got a lot of his shots are from this far out.
Yeah, 14-24 for his career with one this afternoon.
Right.
Career high 3 goals against the West Coast Eagles a fortnight ago. And he drills that from 55 into the fence behind the goals. That's better, Jonty. And he brings it back to 26 points. 9-5-59. Euro St Kilda leading Richmond 5-3-33. 25 minutes into the second term.
It's another centre bounce goal for the Tigers. 3 of their 5 come out of centre clearance. In the end, it started with Max Hall. They've got a good pressure turnover. And just a hack kick forward just to see what would happen. And if that's where he's kicking them from, he should be kicking better than 14-24. Lids, because that was flush.
It was. That was a really nice strike, wasn't it? I think more so as a younger player, when you're learning your leading patterns, he's trying to just find any space, which can tend to be wide, versus being the big dog down there. The big full forwards, they go straight up the V.
Earlier, Fremantle winners by 43 points. Wally up defeating the Bombers at the MCG. A 9th consecutive win. They have a gap now on second on the AFL ladder. Taranto can't break away in the middle of Docklands as Jack McRae lays the tackle.
1 out of 23 for Essendon.
It's not pretty for Brad Scott. Get your thoughts at half-time about his frustration at quarter-time, giving his players a bit of a dressing down. Hayes Brown tries to get a clearance for the Tigers. Tackled and dispossessed in the end was Cumming, and Flanders gets a hand pass away. Hall has to release the footy as he's tackled. Bounces off the boots of Ryan Burns. He tries to corral in front of Burton and now eventually picks up the footy. Did really well. Hand pass to Sinclair. Kicks it to Coney. In from the side. It's spoiled down by Cumming. Brought it down to ground level for the Tigers, and Jaden Short cleans it up. Gets the hand pass away. Hopper just gets a kick over the St Kilda fingertips, and the mark is taken at half back by Grill. Runs his full measure, sends it long up the wing towards half forward. And a free kick against Fawcett, although Wilkie probably had the mark. Kicks it straight in the back at Dougal Howard. They almost make a meal of it. Howard gives it back to the co-captain, and Wilkie this time gets a hand pass away to Flanders.
Flanders flicks the handball back to Wilkie, tight roping the boundary line. Good kick for Burns. I think the question we should all be asking is, how on earth did Melbourne lose to Essendon? Melbourne, who are 7-3, one of their losses against Essendon. Admittedly on...
It's just what happens in Adelaide, doesn't it?
Yeah, neutral territory at Gather Round as Burns moves it up to the wing for Filippo. His kick off a step. Just a little lazy, and it skips out of bounds. And free kick to Steely Green for Richmond. Just backward of halfway, goes back to short on the back flank.
Wasn't at the MCG for the Demons as well. 6 wins from their 6 games at the G. 7 wins and 3 losses. One of the sides on the rise. Miller has it in the back pocket. And hopefully for clubs like Carlton, show you how quickly it can change if you get the right people with the attitude and game plan. Trezise inside the defensive 50, and Grill has it. He's 35 metres out from his defensive goal. In 2 minds, he thought about going out to the City side. Will now swing it towards our broadcast side. Lots of fortune. Lands in the lap of Jonty Fuller. He plays on. Filippo lays the tackle. Has to release a hand pass. Hopper down low. Knocks it away from Winhager. They scrap at ground level. Fall gets a hand pass out to half forward. Burton, little slow. Hall lays the tackle. And the umpire will ball it up between wing and half forward for the Tigers. It's tough going for Richmond. They're 5-3-33. To Euro 8, the Saints 9-5-59. The Saints with 4 goals to 3 in this second quarter.
Umpire puts it aloft. Hayes Brown swatting it out towards Ross. Nice little pirouette. Gets the handball away to short. They're going backwards here though, Richmond. Trezise, he'll kick further backwards to the bullseye and Broad. He linked with a move back to WA. Nathan Broad kicks a bit of a floater inside 50. Nobody there but Stocker of St Kilda. Marks inside their defensive arc. Shorts it for McRae. Jack McRae pokes it really wide to Carroll, who fumbles. Time to recover and moves it on to Sinclair. He drops the mark. Good enough to get it at ground level. Do a little twisting and turning and kick it back to Jack McRae's namesake.
I wonder whether the decals on these footies during Indigenous round are the reason why. Because we see a lot of fumbling last few games.
Don't mind it as a theory.
Some of the artwork on the footy as well, some of the players have complained about. De Koning rising in the pack, takes the mark from the kick of Stocker. He has it out to the right. He's 45 metres out from goal. And Tom De Koning with a chance to go back and knock through his second.
It's not a bad point. It's covered in artwork, isn't it? Stickers and whatever it is.
Which, when you feel it, it's quite shiny. It would never worry me because I had that much gripper on my hands. So these young blokes don't like wearing it.
And the yellow ball is slipperier than the red ball, isn't it? Do you agree with that or disagree?
I can't say I agree with that one. You're on your own.
I was talking about there, Benny. It's a stretch. It's a real stretch.
Tom De Koning kicked multiple goals against his former side out to the right. This looks good off the boot. He has 2 before half-time. The big buy over the off-season, Tom De Koning trying to lead St Kilda in this opening half. They're out by 32 points. 10-5-65 Euro to the Tigers 5-3-33. The Saints with 5 goals to 3 in this second quarter. Benny asked the question about Nathan Broad, 33 years of age, out of contract at season's end.
Yep.
If you're list manager of the Tigers, Lids, what's the right balance in terms of keeping some of the senior players? He's been a part of Richmond's premiership reign, but
he's given plenty to the Tigers. I don't think Blair, he'd want to keep him because he is an experienced player. He's a very well-respected player, Nathan Broad, but if he wants to go back for more family reasons and family support with a young one, I don't think you can hold him there, could you?
No, probably not. Probably not. I mean, I reckon you'd love to keep him with a squad like they've got. You want those guys that have been there and done that, can teach on the way through in real time. I reckon they're invaluable. Because you're not going to get much from trade.
No, nothing.
Free kick for Richmond in the middle. Hayes Brown sends them deep inside 50. Sinclair under the pump, gets it out. Green knocks it out. The quick snap from Forster to goal. Richmond kick one as we close in on half-time, right on the stroke of half-time. And it's back to 26 points. 10-5-65 plays 6-3-39. 31 minutes into the second term.
Centre clearance goal again, free kick. It seems to be a good system for the Tigers at the moment. 4 of the 6 out of the centre square. They've got to find other avenues, but at least they're getting the job done in these scenarios. Good forward pressure, pushed in hard. Fawcett was able to get one between a couple of defenders. from directly in front, kicked the goal. Well done.
I think what it does show is how susceptible they probably are, the Saints, from a quick entry. They're hard to defend. You haven't got your numbers back there to support.
Yeah.
Get it in there quick, which should entice you then to play a bit faster, shouldn't it?
Yeah, Fawcett's no drip.
Some of Daniel Harford's best work. 4 goals Richmond's way to Euro 5 in this second quarter. Shepherding free kick in the ruck as Koning gave away the free kick. And that'll bring us to half-time. Euro Saints leading by 26 points, 10-5-65 to the Tigers, 6-3-39. After it was a 21-point lead the way of the Saints at quarter time. It's currently a 26-point lead. For the Tigers, a couple of goals to Noah Roberts-Thompson in that opening quarter on debut. Kicked a goal with his first kick and then followed it up with a goal with his second kick, while individuals to Fall, Taranto, Bolter and also to Fawcett. While for the Saints, their goals so far this afternoon have come through 2 to Filippo, 2 to Sharman and 2 to Tom de Koning. Individuals to Caminiti, Wilson, Garcia and Hall. Euro by 26 points at half-time, while earlier it was the Fremantle Dockers, Wallop defeating the Bombers by 43 points, 16-8-104 to the Bombers, 8-13-61. The thoughts of Daniel Harford and Brett DeLeo, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, a bit of an adjustment by the Tigers in that second term after being comprehensively mauled in that first quarter by the Saints, who were awesome. They kicked 4 goals in the term to 5 of the Saints. They've still got some issues defensively, but they found a way to maintain possession, as Liz talked about at quarter time, just try and restructure the way they move their ball. They did that in that second term, and it paid dividends. The problem is being able to maintain it all the way down the ground, because St Kilda on transition are so good. They do squeeze you so hard that if you can't get past them, you're going to get scored against pretty quickly on the way back. But they did put some pressure on St Kilda, I reckon, Lids, through that second term, just in general contest. There were a few fumbles, which we talked about as well. I just think there was more pressure on St Kilda in that second term, and Richmond were the beneficiaries, despite the fact they lose the quarter by 5 points in the end. So positive for Adamuzze. I don't think Ross will be wrapped about the way it unfolded in that second term for the Saints, but they've got this game under control. They've got a 20-goal afternoon coming their way if they can keep this up.
Do you think? Yeah, it's probably a fair shout. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how much of a factor it comes in to travel, back from Darwin and the heat up there, as to whether they continue to run. But if Richmond can just stay thereabouts with their pressure, like you spoke about, and play that more direct game, they've just got to give themselves a chance getting an inside forward 50, as you've spoken about ad nauseum, really, with the centre bounce goals. Get it in. They've only had it in there 14 times, which doesn't give your forwards a great look at it. But ultimately, their pressure was up a little bit there, and they controlled the footy for periods, but unfortunately, they get opened up really quickly too, and then a few skill errors and dropping of the ball when you got players running to receive, but then one little mistake invites pressure on the next bloke, and therefore the Saints, they sweat on that stuff and they open it up, and they've walked in a couple of goals.
No Desai Wanganeen Miller, who's out. No Liam Ryan this afternoon. Hugo Garcia is one who continues to show he's got the talent. 15 disposals, 4 clearances, 2 inside 50s and a goal. He has 6 score involvements, and he's the leading possession getter for the Saints, alongside Sam Flanders with 15, while Jaden Short is doing a lot of the work in the back half with 17 for the Tigers.
Yeah, the Tigers are having a lot of ball in the back half, and it's been slow and sideways a lot of the time, but you can understand why they're trying to take a little bit of the sting out of the game to make sure that it's not just that slingshot, because they get opened up far too quickly. But you got to be pleased. Hugo Garcia, he
looms as one of those players ready to break out, doesn't he? If he can get more midfield minutes and maybe make the most of it. In the absence of Nasai Wanganeen Miller, Ross Lyon's always been a fan of his talent. He just wants to see it more consistently.
Yeah, I love his work rate, and I love young Hall's work rate as well. Both those two boys, they're willing to get over to support, but then they're willing to go at the game too, is what I really like. Become goal-kicking midfielders. They're worth their weight in gold.
When they're getting so many inside 50s, in the first quarter it was 22-3. In that quarter it was 16-6. So is it a chance to try and experiment with what best formation? We're on Mateus Filippo watches he's got the blinkers on a little this afternoon. If he gets a shot in front of goal, he wants to take it. But without Max King, who knows if he hopefully might return by the second half of the season. But they can try and play a little bit with what's the right balance between Roel Marshall and Tom de Koning.
Yeah, and they're trying a few things even with their smalls as well as their talls. I mean, Brad Hill's spending a lot of time deep forward this afternoon. He gets up and runs the lines as he does, but I think he's playing relatively deep forward from what we can see at the moment. And then you've got the other hybrids that float around. McCaminetti's doing a good job this afternoon, putting a bit of pressure on, kicked a goal as well. So I think they are still moving a few magnets to try and find out what it can look like. And I imagine with the hope of penciling in at some stage, or having the magnet of Max King just somewhere local, just so they can just chuck it in and out to see what it looks like. Obviously not going to get him out there on the field anytime soon, but just have that up in the back of their mind as to how it could look if they can qualify themselves for a wild card or finals position. So, yeah, I reckon there's an element of experimentation. We might see a bit of that in the second half too, as to the different looks they might want to have going forward when they've got the game under control.
So he's going Bo Morris, Black Rock, around there to Sandringham. We've got to get him back towards Moorabbin.
Moorabbin would be great. Yeah,
this would be good.
It would be great for the Saints. It'd be great for footy. I mean, we saw him the other day in the VFL. Clinchy, Big Maxi, and he looked terrific when he was launching at the footy. Aerobically, he looked like he was still a fair way off it, coming from a long way back. And then he hurt his hamstring again. It was all over. So, I mean, we'd love to see him back playing footy. He's a real talent. We just haven't seen the best of it, clearly. And I reckon the Saints fans would be a bit more desperate than us.
Haven't played in the AFL since 2024, Max King. And you look at players like Cooper Sharman and Caminiti, it takes a bit of the pressure off them if they do have a player of Max King's calibre, even just his ability to compete one-on-one. For Richmond fans, obviously their expectations are somewhat low, given their growing injury list. 18 on the injury list. It becomes 19 with Campbell Gray suffering a hamstring injury in that second quarter. So we try and work out how we judge them, Lids, this afternoon. For Adam Uze, that's the challenge for the moment. When you are losing regularly and so many players out in terms of experience, you're looking for the next generation of talent coming through. And one of your boys who you manage, Noel Roberts-Thompson, booted 2 goals in that opening quarter, 2 goals with his first 2 kicks. So that's a little shining light. But it's a tough job for Tom Lynch, as the experienced forward often outnumbered and outsized as he tries to fight off the Euro defenders.
Well, and that's the thing. You're looking down the stat sheet and you see Tommy Lynch, and you can only imagine what's going through his head at the moment at half-time, knowing that he's got to push all the way up to provide a contest up on the wing, and the ball's coming inside your forward 50, closer to goal 14 times for a half. You're fighting against, Cal Wilkie, arguably one of the best drop-off defenders in the game, as well as Silvani. Dougal Howard at times as well. It does make it incredibly tough, but what you've got to do as a senior player is remove yourself from your own performance, essentially, but make sure that you're helping and guiding those other young players, showing a bit of leadership. How do we best manufacture this game and stay competitive and not just drop our head and pack up?
The thoughts of Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford with you on ABC Sport. It's the Saints who lead by 26 points over the Tigers. We'll get their thoughts on a 9th consecutive win for the Fremantle Dockers, 43-point winners over the Bombers this afternoon. And still to come, it's the Eagles and the Giants in the final game of round 10 of the AFL. But for the moment, let's bring you the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. The man who was killed by a shark after being bitten near Rottnest Island yesterday off the coast of Perth has been identified. 38-year-old Stephen Mataboni was spearfishing with friends at Horseshoe Reef, about 1 kilometre north of Marjorie Bay, when he was attacked by a 4-metre white shark before 10 o'clock in the morning. His friends retrieved him from the water and returned to Geordie Bay, where paramedics performed CPR. However, he was unable to be revived. In a statement, his wife Shireen says Stephen's loved ones are broken by his loss. She says Stephen will be remembered as a devoted father to his 2 young daughters, fiercely loyal and endlessly generous. Russian officials say at least 3 people are being killed in a Ukrainian drone attack in the Moscow region. They say 12 others were injured in the attack, mostly near the entrance to a Moscow oil refinery. Moscow's mayor says the refinery's technology was not damaged. An independent commission appointed by the World Health Organization wants climate change to be declared an international public health emergency, the highest form of health alert. More from the BBC's Danny Aberhard.
The Pan-European Commission's message is stark. Climate change is not a future threat to be managed. It's an immediate and growing crisis. The WHO's Europe Regional Director, Hans Kluge, calls it a health emergency, security threat and an economic time bomb, all rolled into one. Every year of delayed action compounds the costs, the panel argues. The health of current and future generations are harmed by excess heat, air pollution, floods and the spread of infectious diseases.
The head of one of Germany's biggest think tanks says the country's economy faces new headwinds from the conflict in the Middle East. Clemens Fjost, president to the IFO Institute for Economic Research, says Germany had been expecting renewed growth this year, driven by government spending and borrowing. He says, however, the US-Israeli war on Iran is compounding existing challenges from US tariffs, and growth will now likely be weak this year at around 0.6%. Back home in Victoria, police is making a fresh appeal for public help to find a man who shot 3 people and robbed an Armaguard truck at Melbourne's Chadstone shopping centre more than 30 years ago. Investigators say they have recently received new intelligence about the violent armed robbery, in which 2 security guards received gunshot wounds to the lower leg as the weekend takings from the cinema were stolen. It happened on the morning of May the 16th, 1994. As the masked men fled, he threatened multiple shoppers and shot a 40-year-old man in the leg. Detective Inspector Adam Tilley says the level of offending was horrific and someone out there knows who's responsible.
Given the severity and the callous nature of this offending, we believe it to be unlikely this was either the first or the last time the offender committed an armed robbery. It is also unlikely there isn't someone out there who knows of someone who offended in this way.
A man has been barred from flying with Qantas after a flight attendant was reportedly bitten on a flight between Melbourne and the US. Yvette Gray has the story.
Qantas Flight 21 from Melbourne to Dallas was forced to divert to Tahiti on Friday due to a disruptive passenger on board. The ABC understands the passenger bit a flight attendant and fellow passengers helped to restrain him. Qantas has confirmed local authorities in Tahiti met the plane on arrival and the passenger was removed. A spokesperson says the safety of its customers and crew is their top priority and there is zero tolerance for disruptive or threatening behaviour on its flights. The plane was refuelled and continued its journey to the US, landing in Dallas yesterday morning.
A racing colleague has honoured a Tamworth horse trainer who died on Friday after he was struck by a racehorse. Nikita Jager reports.
Tamworth trainer Stephen Meyer is being remembered as a dedicated and highly regarded horseman known for his integrity, work ethic and deep lifelong love for thoroughbreds. The 71-year-old passed away on the way to hospital on Friday after he was struck by his horse at Scone's 2-day race carnival. The incident occurred just before the gelding Dancer in the Dark was set to race and the horse was declared fit to run. The CEO of Tamworth Jockey Club, Jack Penfold, has paid tribute to the respected trainer in a statement saying he was a gentleman and a friend to everyone he came across and that this terrible accident has devastated the Tamworth racing community.
And in AFL, the Dockers have made it 9 straight victories, beating Essendon comfortably by 43 points at the MCG. This is ABC News.
Guy Montgomery is back with a new assistant.
Sam Campbell. I'll take the job. What is the job?
The new season of Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee. Wednesday nights on ABC TV and ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round with ABC Sport.
Chance for the Saints to kick the opening goal of the second quarter inside a minute. And Cooper Sharman puts through his second from the right forward pocket. And Hayes Brown, the big ruck, sends it long inside 50. Won't get to Lynch. Bolter in front, making a peel. He was taken high. Spills towards the pocket where it's tapped by Flanders. Looking for Silvani. Hand pass chopped up by Lynch. Gets the hand pass away. Tim Taranto around his body. Made something out of nothing from the left forward pocket. And the Tigers scored their third goal. Noel Bolter without Toby Nankervis. He's spending a lot of time in the ruck. Almost directly in front. 35 metres out. Gets rhythm and bangs it through. Last 2 goals of the match the way of the Tigers. First time in the match they've kicked consecutive goals. And the Saints' Euro lead is cut back once more. It's a 14-point lead. Silvani off hands for the Saints to Garcia. To Wilson on the run from 50. He's a classy ball user. And he bangs it through easy as you like.
Out of the middle goes St Kilda again. De Koning away to Garcia. To Filippo with the finish.
He knew it straight away too.
From range. And St Kilda snatch back control of this match.
Tom De Koning kicked multiple goals against his former side out to the right. This looks good off the boot. He has 2 before half time. The big buy over the off-season, Tom De Koning trying to lead St Kilda in this opening half. They're out by 32 points.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
Great to have your company on a Sunday afternoon. It's Euro. The Saints leading at halftime over the Tigers by 26 points. 10-5-65 to Richmond 6-3-39. The Saints 4 wins and 5 losses entering round 10 of the AFL. They're desperate to get ahead of the ledger with a tough month to come. They take on the Dockers, the Hawks and the Sydney Swans in the next 3 weeks, and they're hoping to get Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller back in due course. While for Richmond, their injury toll continues to build, unfortunately for them. Another injury with Campbell Gray out with a right hamstring injury, so that injury list now ballooning up to 19. They didn't have any AFL-listed players in their VFL yesterday. Matt Clinch and Ben Cameron calling the action. Andrew Mays is down on the boundary. Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport. In the earlier match, Half and Lids, a 43-point win the way of the Fremantle Dockers. Wally up 2 strong, 16-8, 104 to the Bombers, 8-13, 61. So that's 9 straight for the Dockers. They're out on top of the ladder with the Sydney Swans, and I guess the question in which Bob Murphy and Chad Wingard were pondering as part of the ABC Sport team is, are they the real deal? Is there any questions in your mind about Fremantle's premiership credentials as we now turn into the 11th round of the home and away season, and the Dockers are able to come over to Melbourne and against the side, the Bombers aren't quite in the same page as them, but trying to show they have no deficiencies, with Pat Voss leading the way with 5 goals in the match, including 4 against his former side in the second quarter.
Yeah, I'm not taking too much out of today's performance in terms of their possibility of being a contender, but I absolutely put them in they're probably top 2. I think Sydney and them are the top 2 teams for a reason.
So they're both 9 and 1.
Yeah, I think they're the best 2 teams in footy. They've beaten quality teams. They're doing it in their own way. And Fremantle, when you look at their personnel on the ground, they've got everything. They've got key posters at either end. Real power forwards. Some of those, Tracy's a real power forward. They've got an unbelievable midfield brigade, led by Luke Jackson, who's transforming the way that things are being done.
Does Sean Darcy get back into that?
I wouldn't be playing.
Me either.
No.
I'm with you.
Justin Longmuir last week on AFL Saturday joined the team, and he was asked about that, and he basically said, look, Sean's going to have to earn back his spot.
Fantastic.
Like, it is, I don't think it's going to be handed straight back to him. So,
nor should it. I think Mason's doing enough now, but he gives him that little more flexibility forward than having Sean just go down there and plonk, and if it gets on the ground, well, that's it, game over. Whereas I think you get a little bit more from Mason. Not a heap. I mean, they're both big boys, aren't they? But you're right, they don't want from much.
No, they've got star power, they've got X Factor, they've got flankers that can do the damage, they've got speed, they've got bulls.
Strong defence.
It's a really good balanced attack. I think they're a genuine contender.
So the Dockers, Wally up next week, take on Euroke. The Saints over in Perth, and they have Brisbane, North Melbourne, Geelong and the Suns in the next few weeks. So it feels like a couple of those games will give us a better indication than today did, but all we can do is keep winning, and 9 consecutive wins. They're building a nice record throughout the home and away season.
And important for them to come to Melbourne at the MCG, despite the quality of the opposition, who are really struggling, and do a number on them. And that game was over at half time, and I wouldn't mind betting there was a fair bit of foot off the gas action in the second half for Fremantle. That game was done. What was it, 10 goals or something at half time? So that was all over. They did a great job. They set the game up early. Patrick Voss had his moment against his old club that delisted him, but he still got booed. Don't know how that works. The crowd booed him when he got the Khyber. I'm not sure that's pretty fair. But no, I think they're legit. Essendon in all sorts of trouble, and both sides showed their qualities today, or lack of today.
One of your former sides, the Blues, back on the winners list, snapping a 7-game losing streak half last night after parting ways with Michael Voss on Tuesday. Josh Fraser led them to victory on Saturday night. A 12-point win over the Western Bulldogs to kick 5 goals to 2 in the final quarter, led by their captain Patrick Cripps. It takes out some of the emotion and some of the frustration for the Carlton fans, but what direction does it leave them as they enter the second half of the season in caretaker coach mode?
No, I don't think they know if they're Arthur or Martha still. From what we saw last night, great result for the fans and for the players as well, because it's been a heavy week and a heavy year really. For
what does Vossi think?
If I was Vossi, I'd be throwing stuff at the telly.
Yeah, seriously, you won't.
Yeah. Well, the good news for you, Half, is you're no longer the last Carlton coach sacked either.
That's a good point. Great, that's a great result for me.
Yeah.
Unlucky, Vossi. Unlucky.
Taking the mantle.
Yeah, I'm the last one. He was the first one mid-season for a while. I was the end of the season. It's a challenging position. Like
What did you watch last night?
Mid-season sack. I reckon he would have.
Yeah.
I reckon he would have.
His phone would have lit up,
He's invested a lot of time and energy into that group, trying to get it to be what he thought it could become. Struggle with that. I mean, look at the way they've played largely for the year. It's been pretty good for what I think is a bang average list. Then they got the result last night. So one of the Bulldog supporters through the week were going, oh, bloody hell, they sack him the week they play us. 7 of 13. The last 7 of the last 13 coaches got sacked at a win. The club had a win the next week.
Which I feel like some people say, oh, that's close to 50-50, not that big a deal. But The point is, when a
the
coach
reason you
gets
get sacked.
you're usually going very, very badly.
Yeah.
You're not winning very often.
Yeah.
So then for it to be close to 50-50 the next week is a big deal.
I reckon Bossy might have thrown something at the telly at that stage.
You can hear more thoughts from Daniel Harford and Ben Cameron, the ABC AFL Daily Podcast, available tonight on your way into work tomorrow. And you can get that wherever you get your podcast from and on the ABC Listen app. It's Magic Round in the NRL Round 11. It's also on ABC Listen. Just click on the NRL button. It's the Warriors who lead the Broncos 16-0 after Newcastle defeated the Gold Coast Titans in the earlier match. Penrith and St George to come. And, of course, the PGA in the golf, Benny.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Rory's moved within striking distance. He's one shot off the pace, the leader at 6 under, and Cam Smith is within striking distance as well.
There's like 30 players within 2 shots of the lead. I've been sleeping on the couch watching all of that. Second half underway. St Kilda by 26 points. Tom De Koning taps it down. The Saints get it moving forward. Ball goes in. So too Ross of Richmond, and they come away with it. Off to Campbell, then to Bolter. Sweeping handball to the run of Cumming. Runs to 50, shanks his kick. It might work out, it does. Fawcett ends up on the end of it. 25 out on a 45-degree angle, and he'll go back and kick for goal. That's an effective kick.
Yeah, it is. They
Whatever
don't draw
you think
pictures.
of it.
Yeah, that was him trying to kick the absolute cover off at Sammy Cumming, wasn't he? And it's worked out beautifully. I mean, they've struggled to get inside forward 50, and then when they do, they kick foul bags like that. I mean, it's hard to get on the end of them.
This might be another centre bounce goal, you know.
It may well be. Kicked the last goal of the first half. That was in the last minute of the first half. Now, Liam Fawcett trying to goal in the first minute of the second half. He does it. Holds the love heart above his head as well. And Richmond bring it back to 20 points. They're hanging around 10-5-65. You wrote St Kilda. Richmond 7-3-45. We've played a minute in the second half. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, they're not by design, those ones, but you take them when you get them.
It goes down as a goal assist.
That's absolutely. And a perfect kick, inside 50 effective kick. It's brilliant if you're coming. But, yeah, I mean, they've got to get a few things go their way. So centre bounce has been, I've been banging on about it all day. It's been a real positive opportunity for them. They made the most of that again, and it does keep it a little bit tight. 20 points after what they've been through in the first half, it's probably not a bad result. I mean, just go through some of the numbers from the second quarter. They won contested possession after getting absolutely hammered in the first quarter, -19, +4 in the second quarter. So little bits, they're improving.
Back in the middle of the ground, De Koning wins down the tap to Windhager, who kicks it straight up in the air. Burns underneath it, Sonsey as well. Neither can get a decisive tap. Campbell gets a hand pass out to Taranto. High long ball towards half forward. Fawcett trying to get a hand to it. Silvani blocked him out. Spills to the back of the pack where Cal Wilkie gathers. Hand pass away to Flanders for Euro. The Saints out of defence as O'Connell. His kick is chopped off though. Trezise slides in front of Brad Hill and takes the mark.
Got to get it into Tom.
Hill's off the mark as well, so he can basically gain a few extra metres. Long to Tom Lynch, can't take the mark, and Silvani desperately slaps it through. Is that enough pressure? The umpire says all clear, a minor score.
I think he's more close to the being outside the area that you're allowed to hit it through.
I reckon he was.
Yeah, I think he might have been 2.5.
19-point lead the way of the Saints. We've played 2.5 minutes in the third quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Sinclair goes for a little run, takes a bounce and thumps a kick up to the wing. Caminiti arriving late and over the top of him. Punched out a play there for the Tigers. Throw in on the wing. Luke Trainer gallops off after his good spoil.
Can't imagine Lids going with the love heart celebration after kicking a goal, the Richmond champ.
I wasn't a great celebrator, to be honest, Clinchy. Just admire the work after it.
Just a fist pump.
Yeah.
Trot off to Koning. Double palms it down to the front. Jack Sinclair jumping handball. Gets it moving forward 20 metres. Caminiti picks it up low down. And he's got the crocodile roll tackle coming from Trainer. So ball up on the wing. Saints by 19. 3 minutes played second half.
Dimmer hated big celebrations with the crowd, so it was all about your teammates.
Yeah. Famously, Jack Rewalt out in Yea, which is where Max Hall's from.
Yes, celebrated with the crowd. And right, that's it. I know we're only 2 minutes into the last. Come and see the appel. Sat there for the rest of the quarter.
Pre-season game?
Yeah, pre-season game. We hadn't won many under Dimmer. I guess 2012. We were playing the Cats just off their flag in 2011. And we rolled them comfortably.
In fairness, pre-season celebrations are good.
Save it for the real stuff. Ended up going with the Jonathan Brown finger salute as his moniker.
Song.
Ross kicks up towards half forward. Wrestle for Fawcett and Cal Wilkie. And a lasso as it came off.
The kick.
Off the boot of Fawcett down low. I think Wilkie was aware that it was going to be his free kick, but he's happy to take it at right half back. Europe leading by 19 points to get out by 27 points and 32 midway through that second quarter. Wilkie up the wing. Filippo presents, but in front. Good mark taken by Jack Ross, a developing midfielder for the Tigers. Game number 103 for him, 25 years of age.
In a career run the last few weeks, kicks up to half forward off the hands of the pack. Play goes on. I thought there was a whistle coming from somewhere.
I thought I heard that too.
Yeah.
In the end,
Daisy, is that you?
Ends up out of play, and we'll get a throw-in. Someone's brought their own whistle for the crowd today.
Don't do that. Don't do that, people. Don't do that.
Throw in, high half forward. In for the Tigers. Kicked the only goal of their second half so far. Bolter runs and takes it out of the ruck. Handball away to Sonzi. Handball back to Seth Campbell. Kicks infield. Grill. Back feeds it to Trainer. Now the kick inside 50. Looking for a marker, Richmond. Stocker, unopposed in the end, runs up and marks defensively for St Kilda.
He looks to swing out to left half back where Cal Wilkie takes the mark. And work it wider still where the mark is taken by Jack Higgins. Had some concerns early in the match, but he's been okay to continue on up towards O'Connell. Can't take the mark. Down low, Boston gets the hand pass away. Retchko kicks out on the full.
It's not it.
The player Bob Murphy dubbed it surname sounded like a spanner brand. Out on the full, and the free kick will go the way of the Saints across half back. Wilkie quickly takes it, turns and comes inboard.
That was my gag, by the way.
That was your gag, was it? Sorry,
I think they're giving Bob all my good stuff.
I think it's because it sounds like wrench, but half wouldn't know the difference.
Fletchers are coming quick and fast now.
Don't make me come down there, mate.
Brad Hill through the middle of the ground for Euro.
Because me, I'm a great handyman.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine.
The follow-on question was going to be that. Wilson into the pocket. That's a nice kick. Jack Higgins leads out into the pocket, hugs it to his chest, and despite a congested forward 50, there was nothing the Richmond defence could do there.
No, that's the difference, isn't it? When you look at the Trainer inside 50 and even the Richco exit out the other side of the ground, they're harder to defend when it's just that silk service there from Darcy Wilson. Had a little pocket and just put it on the Jack Higgins' chest.
16 goals, 5 for Jack Higgins so far this season, having missed with concussion. He starts in the right forward pocket, trying to work it right to left. It's a great kick from the small forward. And subdued in his celebration as he sends it through, and it's the Saints' 11th of the match. 11-5, 71 to the Tigers, 7-4-46. The goal apiece so far through this third quarter, 7 minutes in. Brent DeLidio and Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport.
And you can say what you like, Lids, about system and strategy and structure, but if you've got the ball in hand and you make poor execution, then it's going to cost your team. We saw that one with Trainer, as you mentioned, and the spanner as well. And then you see that beautiful delivery inside forward 50 to a leading Higgins to the pocket, right out in front, right on the chest. I mean, if you control the footy, control possession, and execute effectively, you're going to make a big difference in this game.
The margin has been around the 27 to 32 mark since midway through the second term. And Richmond get it any closer. De Koning clearly winning the tap. Free kick. A little hold there on Jack McRae. Gives it off to Wilson, running by. Steps around Bolter, gets the handball to De Koning. Back feeds it to Carroll. St Kilda ball here. Kick from the middle of the ground, inside 50. Caminiti launching out the back, Sharman. Coming through Miller for the Tigers. Short goes in low, he's tackled. Umpire crosses himself to ball it up. 30 out from the attacking goal here for St Kilda at the Coventry end of the ground. Saints by 25 points, 8 played in the third.
De Koning wins down the tap against Noah Bolter. McRae tries to get a hand pass out. Banfield on debut, down low. Can't break clear. Tackled by Roberts Thompson, and the footy is locked up to those two. Charlie Banfield, pick 41, 2025 from Western Australia.
Son of Drew.
Son of Drew,
yeah.
As Noel Bolter wins down the tap, tries to get a hand pass away to Hopper. He turns it over. Here's Jack Sinclair, receives the hand pass. Kicks looking for Cooper Sharman, clears him. O'Connell tries to knock it away from the defence. And surely taken high there, Nick Loston, who throws his head back. The umpire eventually spotted it. The Tigers try to take the advantage, but this will come back.
What about Drew Banfield too? Crossed 2 eras. Played in the 94 flag in his first year. Played in the 06 flag in his last year. Not bad going, is it? 15-year career.
He was a beast.
He was a beast, yeah.
Loston in the back pocket. At fullback, kicks it to the back pocket for Short. His high towering kick is to a contest on the wing. Wilkie spoils it away at the fall of the ball. Sonzi for Richmond. Handball to Campbell. Handball onto Fall. Turnover. Here is Banfield. This is Charlie. The young man gets it onto McRae. St Kilda with some go forward. Down the wing they go. Wilson to Burns. Kicks infield. Marshall low down. Took the mark, I thought. Umpire said play on. Gives it off. It'll come back and a high tackle. So Marshall free kick. Between wing and half forward. Saints by 25 points. Marshall kicks it into the man on the mark. Hayes Brown, the former Perth Wildcat. Ricochets away to Fall. He's dragged down in the tackle and holding the ball. And I think Banfield will be the man who's rewarded here. Jack McRae was a part of the tackle. Burns was there too. And I think Burns will say, that's mine. No, you'll have to give it to Banfield. So here is the young man.
Everyone's just worked out who's got it, I think.
Debutant.
It was a good tackle. He didn't have a lot of time there, though, Jonty Fall, did he?
No.
Because he dropped the footy, that's why. I think it must have been that.
The Eagles didn't match the bid on Charlie Banfield. Pick 41 last year. Late boot to ball from about 51. Arcs out to the right. His drop punt. Heads right. And nicks off the behind post, out of bounds on the full. St Kilda's lead doesn't change. Still 25. Andrew Mays.
Lynchy mentioned the subdued celebration from Jack Higgins. I reckon that's because he put everything into that. He then limped to the bench and he's getting a bit of work done on that right knee again.
So right knee concern for Jack Higgins. Campbell Gray out of the game for the Tigers with a hamstring injury. Windhager takes possession back for the Saints. Yoroke on the wing. Inboard to Carroll. There's another beautiful pass. Henry leads out in the pocket. Boston chops the arms. And Liam Henry will get a shot from a similar position in which Jack Higgins goaled a few moments ago.
Yeah, I think it might have been Steely Green who just decided to run past the mark rather than forcing. Was it Carroll who kicked that one in?
Yeah, Carroll.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to play the percentages and force them back over the mark. You could go forward and just opened up the whole 50. Makes it very hard for Nick Vossen to defend that of Henry.
Liam Henry in his third game for 2026 has kicked 4 goals, 1. A couple of games in the VFL before getting his way back at AFL level. This kick is right all the way and through for a minor score. You're leading by 26 points. 12 minutes gone in the third quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Short with the kick into Trezise. Very low down. And Trezise draws Hill. Thumps a left-footed kick out towards the logo. Off the hands of Silvani. It trickles out towards the boundary line and tracking it there. Carroll carries it out. Throw in neutral territory. City side of the ground. Saints by 26. Richmond chant reverberating around Docklands. Game still to come later today, of course. The West Coast Eagles, who are going by Wallach Marawa in Sir Doug Nicholls' round, taking on GWS. And the restart, a free kick going the way of the Saints, and Hugo Garcia will be the recipient.
Any chance the Eagles, do you think, this afternoon?
No, I don't think so. Not if the Giants are legitimate.
That's the big question, isn't it?
Be a bad loss for them.
Yeah.
We said that they've been less than impressive so far. I know they've had some injury challenges.
Not humming, are they?
No, a long way from it.
That's your next stop on ABC Sport. If it's not on your radio, ABC Listen has you covered. Just click on the dedicated AFL button. AFL Extra for the game. It's not on as the national call. Darcy Wilson just chips the ball out to Dougal Howard. He veers out to the right. Richmond have numbers inside the defensive 50. Up goes Jack Ross and takes the intercepting mark in front of Filippo. Leading into the left forward pocket for the Saints. Europe by 26 points as Ross turns, works it all the way back to the last line of defence, and Miller marks, can chip it over the top to Trezise. He has it in the right back pocket for the Tigers. In their away strip with the yellow and the black sash. He feeds the hand pass back to Miller. Got to be careful here, the kick back to Trainer. Only one skiller away from coughing up a goal. The kick looking for coming. Henry gets involved, gets a touch onto it. Carroll runs onto it off the left side, curls it towards goal and misses to the left-hand side.
Great read by Henry. He knew exactly what was going to happen there. Sat off his opponent, let him have the boundary and just had his weight shifting towards the middle just in case they tried to pull the trigger, which they did. It's stiff not to get the goal on the back of that.
Caminiti had the Shannon Knowles on, didn't he?
Yeah. Short kick to the pocket for Short. And goes back to fullback and Miller. And he'll get around Caminiti. Sends his kick out very wide towards the wing. Marshall and Fawcett, and Marshall Forces it out of play for a throw-in.
So that's what we talked about at quarter-time. Lids was all over it, that they needed to just start to kick to numbers just to stop the counter-attack of St Kilda in open play. Kicked it to about 8 or 10 numbers there, 20 total with the St Kilda defenders as well. Get it out of bounds, reset, up the field.
Saints by 27. Marshall brings it to the front. Nobody's going anywhere. Hopper with the football. Tossed aloft. Marshall bringing it down for Garcia. Moves it forward for St Kilda with the handball. Away to Wilson, to Carroll, to Sinclair. He'll look to kick, just chips it inside 50. Exquisite. And Burns marks. He thinks about giving it off, but thought better of it. He'll go back from 45 and kick for goal.
Well, I hope he gets it. He works really hard, this bloke. I've been watching him closely all afternoon. He runs up and down the wing, playing that really important wing role these days in modern footy. Spending a bit of time forward here at this phase of the quarter. But gee, he works his backside off. He's great defensive cover. He always presses up on the bloke with the footy, puts some pressure on them and makes them make a decision, which often leads to a turnover or an error. It's been a nice reward for him.
Ryan Burns, it's a very slow and deliberate approach. From 45, his drop punt is just fading right. St Kilda by 28. It's been around that mark ever since the midway point of the second term. Quarter hour mark of this third term. 11-8 plays 7-4.
Yeah, 32 points, Benny, the biggest margin midway through that second quarter. Miller brings the Tigers back into play to Boston. Back to Miller. Got around Garcia. Tackle. Dispossessed. No, he didn't get around him holding the ball. And Hugo Garcia wins a free kick at right half forward for Euroke.
Garcia gets a free kick, but it was a team free kick. The come forward pressure at the loose ball or the live ball was fantastic.
Caminiti leads up. Nick Gloston got up high and both have landed awkwardly. It's gathered by Ryan Burns. Tries to get a hand pass away to Wilson. Hill gets a hand pass out back to Hugo Garcia. He's at the top of the 50. Kick is over the head of Liam Henry and Broad on the last line of defence. Kicks to Swansea. Spoiled by his own teammate. It comes down the way of Jack McRae. He and Burns whacks it in the right forward pocket. A centering ball across the face of goal. And Banfield in the left forward pocket takes the mark.
Yeah.
Cooper Sharma not required in the end. Just kept his opponent out. And the Saints, well, they're toying with them a little bit as Anthony Caminiti is going to come to the bench, and Nick Florstone as well, both worse for wear.
It was really unselfish in the end from Burns. I thought he might have just had a little cover yourself in glory moment at the right foot put on up, but saw his teammate all on his own in the pocket, really.
Charlie Banfield, is this his moment? Euroke kicked 1 goal, 3 so far in this third quarter, 5 disposals. For the son of Drew in the left forward pocket as he starts his approach, 35 metres out from goal for his first in the Saints colours. And his family celebrating in the stands. Charlie Banfield gets his moment in this third quarter here at Docklands. And every St Kilda teammate comes to celebrate with him. Pick 45 in last year's draft. And the Saints are now out by 34 points, biggest lead of the match, 12-8-80 to the Tigers, 7-4-46 through 17 minutes in the third quarter, ahead of Lids and Daniel Harford. Andrew Mays down on the boundary.
Yeah, just an update on Vlosten. He's a little bit better off than Anthony Caminiti, who's having some work done by the doctor just on his right ankle at the moment. So just testing that out with a few stretches at the moment. We'll update you as soon as we have some more news.
I can see that Banfield's up there and Drew celebrating that. He knew exactly where they were as well, Charlie. Pointed up in their direction.
That's awesome. How good's the joy of first goals?
One of the great parts of our game. St Kilda looking to go forward again. Garcia knocks it out to Hall, to Windhager. Running, kicks inside 50, getting back. Broad drops the mark. At the fall of the ball, Sharman, he's tackled by Miller. Stripped of it. And then wrapped up again by Miller. All up left forward pocket here for St Kilda. Saints by 34. Umpire puts it aloft. Slap boundary side by Hayes Brown and out of play. Throwing coming. 34 points to equal. New game high for the Saints late in this third term.
It's been largely a bit of an arm wrestle this quarter, hasn't they, really? All the time really exerting too much dominance.
Thrown in, Marshall tries to work it over the back. Hall, his hand pass looking down low for Marshall. Henry tried to attack it with speed. Retco can't gather. Garcia's hand pass to Byrne, to Brad Hill. Nice little sidestep. Centering ball to Flanders. Is that 15? It is. And he marks pretty much directly in front, 45 metres out from home.
Look like a cartoon character then, Bradley Hill trying to stop and change direction. He was going that fast when he got possession. Took a couple of steps on the roundabout to get through, to get back to where he wanted to kick the ball to Flanders.
And Sam Flanders, the former son, trying to have an impact in his new colours. 18 disposals so far this afternoon, looking to join the growing list of goal kickers. The Saints with 2 goals, 3 so far in this third quarter. As he comes in, short runner, just doesn't quite carry the distance, and on the behind line it's knocked through by Hayes Brown for a minor score. So a 35-point lead the Saints way. Europe leading at the 20-minute mark of the third quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
I've had the binoculars on Drew, and I can see him smiling from here. He's a long way away from me, but he's a proud man at the moment. His kick from Steely Green out to the wing. Finds Rechko, who kicks around the wing, off the hands of the pack, and the fall of the ball, Windhager of St Kilda. Handball for Carroll, just backward of the wing. Gets it away to Charlie Banfield, who's working into his debut game. Knocks it on to Silvani, and now Windhager again. St Kilda chaining handballs. The Koning breaks it up with the kick. Up to half forward, right on the attacking arc, and Miller outpoints his opponent to mark for Richmond. Dangerous kick. Henry breaks it up, but it'll work out for Richmond.
They eventually get their way out of defence as the hand pass comes out to Grill, to Burton on the wing. He had a shorter option in terms of Roberts-Thompson, but goes more direct than that, and Jonty Fall takes the mark at left half forward, sends it in the pocket, trying to get it to force it, spoiled away in the end. The Saints defence comes surging. Silvani's hand pass to Flanders, to O'Connell, chips it to Sinclair, not 15, has to awkwardly kick it on his left boot, up the wing looking for Henry, and Lux of Fortune, he takes the mark in front of Jaden Short.
Henry tells them to just calm it down for a moment.
Connection number 4 to the footy here, the Saints.
Henry kicks around the boundary line, very wide, arriving late, Filippo. And he'll get a free kick for a little shove. He'll give one away, in fact, the other way. So Trezise with the free kick. St Kilda by 35 points. A little overzealous there, Teus Filippo. Trezise kicking to a contested half forward. Through the hands there of De Koning, ends up with Hayes Brown. He gives it off towards Ross, sweeps a handball infield, Grill, zigging, zagging, a little slalom run, kicks to the pocket, and on the chest of Taranto, 25 out, very tight angle, 10 in from the boundary line, left forward pocket.
There's some good fast feet there from young Sam Grill. You know, he'll always offer that. Thought the one right in front of him with Noah Bolter coming up the corridor might have been the better option. Trickier shot here for Timmy Taranto.
Going to go with the snap. 3 steps on the boot, trying to curl it back into the woodwork. Right hand goalpost, not quite enough. St Kilda lead by 34.
1 goal, 2 for the Tigers in this third quarter. To Europe's 2 goals, 4. As Jack Sinclair, the co-captain, brings them back into play. Long kick out towards Rowan Marshall. Had the height advantage on Trainer, and Trainer gives away the free kick, trying to compete in the air. The Saints like this quick transition, although that kick for Banfield will never get to him, and a chance for the Tigers to pounce. Taken by Jonty Fall, quickly inside 50. Bolter in a 1-on-1 with Silvani. Held on a front position, and that's what they can do when they get it inside 50 quickly. Noel Bolter with the size difference and was able to hang on to the mark. He's going to try and give it off. Rechko can't take the mark, spoils down to the front. That's the question we're all wondering. Campbell's there in the pocket, spills off Taranto. He wanted a free kick for being held. The umpire says throw it in.
He wants to keep us all guessing. That's why. He wants to keep us all guessing.
He's 30 metres out.
Andrew Mays on the boundary.
Caminiti back on for the Saints, which is good news, and Nick Vloster, even though he's not actually moving at 100%, he's back on for the Tigers.
Here's Bolter in the ruck, still keeping us guessing. Steely Green flashing through, knocks it towards goal, and Wilkie carries it through. Just a rush behind, so St Kilda's lead 33 points, 23 and a half minutes into the third term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
As Cal Wilkie brings St Kilda back into play to Jack Sinclair, who marks for Europe. Sends it long out towards the wing. Banfield, was he impeded in the marking contest? He was.
Surely. The out of zone called it.
Jonty Fall wasn't really facing the ball, the direction in which the ball was coming.
Probably a little bit stiff. He had his eyes on the ball, but front on contact these days, it's just a dead giveaway.
Greg Delidio and Daniel Harford, your experts. Matt Clinch and Ben Cameron calling the action. Andrew Mays down on the boundary. Euro St Kilda leading by 33 points after a 9th straight win for the Dockers earlier today by 43 over the Bombers. Through the middle of the ground, Carroll honours the lead of Jack McRae. Might give it back to Carroll, who runs to the edge of the centre square. Good vision, spots Hall on his own. He have it long enough, he did in the eyes of the umpires. It just spilled out at the last moment. Much to the frustration of Jack Ross, unable to get a fist in there to spoil it early enough.
Yeah, you often see that, don't you? Like they can defend for so long, but then they finally get their opportunity up forward to settle the team down and set up defensively. And then we go for a short 30-metre pass across goal. Then you get opened up back through the middle of the ground on defence, get an easier shot, and then Max Hall does what Noel Bolter should have done, go back and have a shot.
11 goals for the season for Max Hall. The mature age recruit comes in and slams it through from 45 metres out. That's what the Tigers couldn't do at the other end. Puts through his second. And Euro starts to stretch out this margin. A game-high 39-point lead, courtesy of 3 goals 4 in this third term. The Saints 13-9-87 to the Tigers 7-6-48. 25 minutes gone, third quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport with Daniel Harford and Brett Delidio.
Yeah, we talked about it before, Lids, about executing under pressure and making the right decisions. Saints do it more often than Richmond do at the moment. And that's, in short, one of the real reasons why we've got the margin we've got at this stage. The Saints haven't been overly impressive, I reckon, since quarter time, to be honest with you, but they're better in circumstances. They make better decisions and they're better with skill execution than the Tigers are at this stage of their evolution.
Last 3 goals of the game going the way of the Saints. Jumping over the top, Bolter to win the tap, but McRae's out after it. Now there's a scrimmage. Ball comes out off the boot of Hopper, coming away to Bolter, Richmond with it. Off to Taranto. Kicks deep inside 50, Lynch launching, juggling, marking. As he's falling to the ground. And he'll go back and kick for goal from 20 out. Barely any angle to speak of.
And where did it come from, Half?
Centre bounce.
Yeah, centre bounce. Well done, the Tigers. It's been one of their main score sources today. Well, it's not through yet, but it certainly will be a score, you'd imagine. I'm backing in Tommy Lynch to at least get it somewhere between those four posts.
Closing in on...
If he misses everything.
If he misses everything, that's it. I reckon
I'm going home.
He's hanging them up.
Closing in on 500 goals. His drop punt here is good. Tom Lynch goals. And St Kilda, their lead is cut back to 33. 13-9-87. Plays 8-6-54. Just his second kick of the day for Tom Lynch. We're 90 seconds away from three-quarter time.
He hasn't had a lot of space to work in, and the way that Richmond have moved the ball in most of the afternoon has been relatively measured, for want of the term. Slow and measured, more than speedy, which creates opportunities for key forwards like Tom. And even in certain situations when he's been one-on-one, they've been reluctant to kick it to him for whatever reason. And that was a 2-on-2 in the end, but just got a chance to run and jump at the footy, which he loves to do, which he hasn't had seen enough today. So that was a nice finish, got his moment, and maximised that. 3 goals to 2 this quarter in favour of St Kilda, so it's a long way from being a mauling again. And as you said, centre bounce, centre restarts these days are a very valuable source for the Tigers.
Daniel Harford with you on ABC Sport. It's the Tigers' best chance of one-on-ones inside 50. Bolter tries to get a hand pass forward, following up his ruck work. Winhager's worked out of it. They have the numbers though. Carroll gets the hand pass away to Wilson, across half-back, and now a chance for Stocker. Kicks it up towards the wing, and Filippo with the arms outstretched marks in front of Nick Florstone. He's moving gingerly still after that collision with Caminiti, told to stand on the mark. Filippo cuts out to the left, kicks into the pocket, looking for Ron Marshall. Can't get a hand to it as he's wrestling in the ruck contest, the marking contest inside forward 50. Hand pass comes away from Ross. Out to Grill, kicks up towards half-back for the Tigers. Cal Wilkie picks it up, got a hand pass from Filippo, tries to hand pass it up to Jack McRae. He lays the tackle on Tyler Sonzi. And the umpire will ball it up at right half forward for the Saints. You wrote 13-9-87 to the Tigers, 8-6-54. 28 minutes gone. Third quarter, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
TDK and Bolter both have hands on it. Koning looking to go again. McRae does, playing for a free kick, nothing given. And in the end there is one, which will go the way of Bolter, who shoves over Marcus Windhager with a big double palm to the chest. So Richmond ball, Bolter on the back flank, kicks from one back flank to a forward flank as it's off the hands of the pack. Bouncing ball close to the boundary line. Gathered there neatly by Steely Green. Gives it off to Sonzi. Handball forward for 4. He can just paddle it on. Swooping through Ross. Clean pick up. Turns and kicks a worm burner inside 50. Carroll the first to respond though. St Kilda in their back pocket. Off to Sinclair to Wilkie. And the lateral kick as time expires. Saints leading by 33 points at three-quarter time. Going by the moniker of Euro in Sir Doug Nicholls round. 13-9-87 plays 8-6-54. They lead Richmond. The goal kickers, De Koning with 2, Philippou with 2, Hall and Sharman all with a couple, then singles. Higgins, Wilson, Garcia, Banfield. That's Charlie Banfield on debut and Anthony Caminiti. While for Richmond, 2 to Noah Roberts-Thompson, who kicked 2 goals with his first 2 kicks in league footy. Liam Forster with 2, then singles to Fall, Taranto, Lynch and Noah Bolter.
So in that third quarter, the Saints with 3 goals 4 to the Tigers, 2 goals 3. It got out to a game-high 39 points. But Tom Lynch with the last goal of the quarter to pull it back to a 33-point margin, as Ben has described. Earlier at the MCG, a 43-point win for Wally up the Fremantle Dockers, 16-8-104 to the Bombers, 8-13-61. So a 9th consecutive win for the Dockers as they're second on the ladder, equal with the Sydney Swans. And Pat Voss was the leading goal kicker with 5 for the match, including 4 in the second quarter. Still to come, it's the Eagles in Perth taking on the Giants. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Get your documentary fix on ABC iView.
We have an industry that's just running riot.
Like Sean McAuliffe's Going for Broke.
Last spin, come on.
Todd Sampson's Why.
The best things in life are on the other side of fear.
And more. Streaming now on ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round with ABC Sport.
Liam Fawcett tried to goal in the first minute of the second half. He does it. Holds the lump hard above his head as well. And Richmond bring it back to 20 points.
16 goals, 5 for Jack Higgins so far this season, having missed with concussion. He starts in the right forward pocket, trying to work it right to left. It's a great kick from the small forward. Charlie Banfield, is this his moment? Euro kicked 1 goal, 3 so far in this third quarter. 5 disposals for the son of Drew in the left forward pocket as he starts his approach. 35 metres out from goal for his first in the Saints colours. And his family celebrating in the stands. Through the middle of the ground, Carroll honours the lead of Jack McRae. Might give it back to Carroll, who runs to the edge of the centre square. Good vision. Spots Hall on his own. Did he have it long enough? He did in the eyes of the umpires. It just spilled out at the last moment. 11 goals of the season for Max Hall. The mature age recruit comes in and slams it through from 45 metres out.
Ball comes out off the boot of Hopper, coming away to Bolter. Richmond with it. Off to Taranto. Kicks deep inside 50. Lynch launching, juggling, marking. His drop punt here is good. Tom Lynch goes. And St Kilda, their lead is cut back to 33.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
Three-quarter time at Docklands in Melbourne. The first of the 2 weeks of Sir Doug Nicholls Round, the celebration of our First Nation players and the contribution to the game. It's Euro St Kilda leading by 33 points, 13-9-87 to the Tigers, 8-6-54. For Saints fans, it's been a relatively easy watch this afternoon. They led by 21 points at quarter time. They kicked the first 4 goals of the match by 26 points at half time and led by 33 at the three-quarter time break. Matt Clinch and Ben Cameron calling the action. Andrew Mays down on the boundary. The thoughts of Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, it's probably the quarter, not in terms of goals, but in terms of the way the game was controlled. Like the first quarter half, I feel like the Saints set up defensively and they forced the Tigers to go really slow and quite boring with their football at times. Yes, they were. They limited the bleeding essentially in terms of goals and points against, but it was a bit of a 0-0 draw really from that point of view. You know, the Saints had 30 more disposals in that quarter. The inside 50s, the Tigers only went down by 2, 11-9. And it's all the time it's been that centre clearance, those centre clearance goals that we keep talking about, their ability then to be able to score from those has been their main score source today. It has been, and you said it, Clinchy, in the call, is that it's the only real time they've been able to get one-on-ones and clear one-on-ones, you know, to be able to actually take a mark or compete down there in that front 50. But the Saints have been terrific right across the board. They've done what they've needed to. They haven't had to overexert themselves too much throughout this game just yet, given the inexperience of the Tigers players. But their pressure, their structure, everything's been great, and their goal kicking's been pretty sound for most of this game.
Yeah, I think it's a good summary. I think the first quarter they sort of lost their way, the Tigers, and they weren't able to penetrate, and St Kilda really did put the squeeze on, and that set the game up for them. Outside of that, they've had moments. Their best is much better than Richmond's, from what we've seen when they get a chance to be their best offensively and defensively, but it hasn't been a game that's really excited too much since that first quarter. There is growth from Richmond's perspective since quarter time, and I think Adam Urzay, I'm sure, will be harnessing and really reinforcing those areas in terms of contested possession and clearance and restricting the inside 50 opportunities that St Kilda have had. Even the repeat stuff, they haven't had too many repeats in quarters 2 and 3 after they did in the first quarter. So I think there's growth there. From a St Kilda's perspective, the game's been relatively in control since that quarter time siren, and they've had their moments where they've been really, really good offensively and put Richmond to the sword, and they'll get a few more looks, you'd think, perhaps in this last quarter when the game starts to open up a little bit. But it's been one of those games where what has happened is probably what's been expected to happen, and we haven't been surprised by any of it.
The moment of the match for Saints fans, Charlie Banfield, the son of Drew, who played 265 games for the West Coast Eagles, booted a goal in the third quarter, and Lids and Half, you made reference to the families who's watching in the stands and the celebrations. Drew was there, so that's the moment that once your kid goes into the system of playing professional sport, you hope they get a kick, and then the next is you hope they kick a goal and make their moment count.
It was pure joy. We saw it up on the screens, the monitors in here, that his mates and his dad and mum obviously were just absolutely ecstatic for him, and it's a big moment to kick your first goal after realising your dream of playing your first game.
9 individual goal kickers for Euro this afternoon as they lead by 33 points as we get the final term underway. Hayes Brown rises up, wins down the tap against Marshall, and then follows up his ruck work, trying to knock it out to Tim Taranto. Hopper's hand pass chopped off, and Garcia, who's had a good game, takes a clearance of the Saints up to half forward. Henry protects the space, and Marshall comes crashing through. Hand pass chopped off by Jaden Short, though, of the Tigers. Hand pass to Vlosten. Richmond free kick advantage taken. The kick up to Roberts Thompson, kicked 2 goals in the first quarter on debut. Sends Richmond up towards Jonty Full. He was being held by Cal Wilkie. He'll take the free kick at right half forward. Had Lynch ready to lead in the pocket, but Full wasn't quite ready back behind his mark, so now he might have to try his luck.
I think he's going to have a shot. Yeah, and the way he struck that last one from outside 50,
well,
I think he'd have to consider himself a chance. It's good. It's just fast ball movement. That's what you want. You want to back in your forwards 1v1. It doesn't matter whether he's under 50 gamer versus Cal Wilkie. Back him in. Give him a chance.
The second-year Tiger, pick 14 in 2024, comes in from outside 50. It's out to the left. It's not going to have the accuracy, and in the end, Rowan Marshall punches it through for a minor score. So 14 goals, 25 for him, unfortunately. That's the challenge, isn't it, in a career that you flip that around, and it's a pretty promising start. It's the Saints by 32 points.
Flanders taking the kick in, takes 4 bounces. He's bouncing every 3 or 4 steps at this stage. Now crosses the arc of 50, kicks forward of the logo, off the hands of the pack. Garcia bursting through, takes the footy for St Kilda, off to Windhager, to Filippo, shrugs the tackle, feigns the handball, kicks inside 50. The Coning's down there, but in front. Miller marks for Richmond, back pocket. Kicks to fullback and Short. Continues the switch out to Sonzi on the back flank. St Kilda by 32 points, nearly 2 minutes into the final term.
Sonzi looks at a couple of options into the corridor, has to reluctantly kick it long down the line. Bolter held out his opponent. Cal Wilkie late to get there as Jonty Full takes the mark, centre wing. Now, surely Wilkie was in the protector's area. In the end, the umpire said, no, play on. So the hand pass comes away. Sonzi kicks up towards Jack Ross. He has it at right half forward. Plays on for the Tigers. Tom Lynch on the lead in the pocket. He's got a couple of metres on Dougal Howard. He takes the mark. It's been a frustrating afternoon for Tiger Tom. Just the 2 kicks, 3 disposals. Chance to go back and try and put through his second goal.
Well, I said that's ridiculous because Cal Wilkie pauses mid-play there as he's like when the umpire says stand. There's like musical statues. The music goes off and you have to just absolutely freeze. It's like, come on, what are we doing?
Forgot about musical statues. What a game!
What a game!
When you got young kids, Benny, you'll get into that with young Arch, no doubt.
Tom Lynch, the 2-time Premiership Tiger in his 16th season. As he starts his approach, the 33-year-old starts it right, curls it through beautifully. Tom Lynch has his second. And the Tigers start this final term with purpose, trying to cut the margin. It's back to 26 points, Euro's way. 13-9-87 to Richmond 9-7-61. Can they take the game on a bit more, Richmond, and maybe cough up a couple of goals, but make it a contest? It's back to 26 points. Brett Delidio and Daniel Harford with you.
They're still trying to find their DNA, aren't they? I think into who they are and what they want to become as a footy team. So you've still got to throw everything at the game. There's no time to sit back and just sort of try and stop the clock and keep it nasty and congested. Play a game that's going to be beneficial for you long term. That's the challenge for Adamuze and the coaching staff to get through to these guys. And when that was good ball use, talked about ball use, decision making, execution in that first 3 quarters. It went the way of the Saints, but that was really good play all the way down the wing.
Jack Ross, beautiful kick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
St Kilda's margin, or their lead, back to 26 points. Free kick from the restart. The other way, Richmond coming wants to take off with it, but he won't be able to. The free kick goes to Hayes Brown. Handball to Hopper. Kicks off a step. Shallow inside 50 here for Richmond. Up they go. Sonzi hands to it. Doesn't mark. Soccer at the 4 for St Kilda to Windhager. To Wilson. Through centre half back. Kicks out to the wing. Hill in the foot race with Grill. Hill gets past him. Arches the back. Kicks the Saints to full forward. Henry tracking it back towards the pocket. And the ball beats him to the boundary line. Throw in right forward pocket. I would have backed in Grill there, but...
Well, he didn't watch the ball. He wasn't watching the ball.
Number one rule in footy.
Had he swiveled and seen the ball coming, he would have got on the Jets a little bit earlier, and I reckon he would have had Hill's measure because he was in really good position initially, but didn't know the ball was coming out to him.
26-point lead, the Saints way. De Koning works his way to the front. Player down off the play. Advantage has been taken by Garcia. The umpire gives all clear, and the goal is going to stand. Garcia capitalises. Just trying to work out who the free kick originally was going to go for. It probably doesn't matter really in the end. His second, and Uroke answer straight back, a 32-point lead. The Saints way, 14-9-93 to the Tigers, 9-7-61. I think it was the ruck Hayes Brown who may have conceded the free kick in the end, but it doesn't matter. St Kilda have their 14th goal.
Normally is no scenarios, although it was off the ball. Now it was Max Hall. Max Hall was getting blocked off the ball. That's a free kick. As we see it on the replay screen, just being held off the ball so he couldn't get through. He'd done that a couple of times against Short this afternoon. He just hits the ball at contest at speed, so they've just tried to negate that by holding on. Umpire saw it. In the end, it didn't matter. It went straight to Garcia and was a goal anyway. But
starting to develop into a real player, Hugo Garcia. 23 disposals today and 10 clearances, 6 tackles. As they go forward here, Richmond, but St Kilda win it straight back at centre half back. Flanders to Sinclair. High kick to the wing. Filippo contesting it, opposed to 2 Tigers, and in the end a ball up. Burns has it wrapped to him. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Saints by 32 to Koning. Down for Burns. Off to Flanders. Handball releases the run of Sinclair. Pokes a kick over the top for Hall. Plenty of space. Runs through the attacking edge of their square. Looks for Marshall. Good spoil from Miller. Punches it away, and then Vlosten just hacks it off the deck out towards the wing.
It'll be a lasso free kick the way of Uroke. So Liam O'Connell goes racing after it. Takes the free kick. Turns and comes inboard to Wilson. He marks between wing and half forward on the outer side.
Odd decision by Hall, wasn't it?
You're breaking the paint. You set sail for home.
Absolutely.
Darcy Wilson sends it as high and long as he can into the pocket, looking for Rowan Marshall in the pack with he and Jack Higgins. Off hands, it goes out of play in the right forward pocket. So I guess the curiosity heading into this afternoon's match is the Saints were 4 wins and 5 losses. They've got a tough month to come. Fremantle in Perth, Hawthorn and Sydney in the weeks to come. Have you seen from them this afternoon against the bottom place side enough to suggest they can go to another level?
They'll be competitive. I think bringing the side back in there is certainly better.
Marshall got it down. Hall's on the move from the outside of the boot. Slams it into the right goal post. He has looked dangerous, Max Hall, this afternoon. Has 2 goals. Uroke leading by 34 points.
Miller poking the kick in to Trainer, back pocket. Saints by 33. Trainer takes a few steps, driving kick up towards the wing. Lynch getting there late, punches it away. Trying to come through, Sonzi knocking it on, and Hopper picks it up, snaps the Tigs up towards half forward, bouncing ball coming through Sinclair. Just knocks it to his co-captain Wilkie. St Kilda back with it on their left back flank. Off to Flanders, who kicks to fullback, and O'Connell. Now kicks it back to Flanders. Nearly 8 minutes played in this final term. Saints up by 33.
Flanders can get around Steely Green, who doesn't press, so sends it out wide, and Roll Marshall takes the mark. Off a step, he works it up to Jack McRae. Has it at right half back. McRae, possession number 21 coming up for him. He can switch it across half-back if he chooses to. Cal Wilkie is on his own inside the defensive 50. He'll take the mark. The co-captain swings it out to Jack Silvani, who can mark it left half-back. Euro by 33 points as he takes a bounce. No one within 10 metres of him. Now Tom Lynch lumbers towards him. Silvani turns and comes inboard to Flanders. Richmond have everyone in front of Sam Flanders, as he's between wing and half-back for the Saints. Chips it inboard to Sinclair, barely 15, but getting the benefit of the doubt. Jack Sinclair just decides to poke it over the top to Dougal Howard. The Saints happy to play this uncontested mark game for the moment and find a hole in the defence for the Tigers. Out towards Winhager. He marks on the foul side, chips it inboard to McRae. Gets involved once more. Now tries to jag a kick out towards Brad Hill. He marks out at right half forward, 60 from home. Works it over the top. While Marshall runs into the space, and eventually Euro gets a mark inside their attacking 50, but had to show a fair bit of patience.
Patience is right. That was a laborious build-up. They look like they wanted to go fast, and Jack Silvani takes a couple of bounces away. No, I'll go back through the middle and go slow again, and back around the Cape we went. But they worked their way all the way into the forward 50, and tough shot from out here. Ramanaska's pocket.
To Koning's kick couple. Can Marshall join him with a goal from the right forward pocket? How do you like that? With a finger in the air, he celebrates with the Saints fans. Rowan Marshall puts through his first goal of the afternoon, becomes the 10th individual goal kicker for Euro this afternoon. They bring up the ton, 15-10-100 to the Tigers, 9-7-61. It's a 39-point lead at the 10-minute mark of the final term. Britt Delidia, how'd you like that?
I loved it. That's a fantastic finish from out there in the pocket half.
For anyone who doesn't know, Adam Ramanauskas thinks that there is some kind of breeze that gets inside Docklands that makes it nigh on impossible to go from that pocket at the Lockett end.
Once again, found to be talking garbage.
We all have our own theories, don't we?
That's right up there with my yellow ball slippery theory, but I fumbled them equally. Red or yellow, didn't matter.
It's just you got small hands.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, fumble. I haven't come across that in my time.
Back in the middle to Koning and Bolter, both with hands on this one. They halve it. All bobbles around. No one taking clean possession just yet. Ross does, but he's tackled quickly by McRae.
It was interesting, just reflecting upon that build-up defensively from Richmond before Marshall's goal. They just sat off. They just sat off St Kilda all the way. Now, they're the team that have to make the play to get back into this game. I was just surprised that they're happy to just sit off and allow them to chip the ball around.
Saints by 39. Bolter out of the ruck, but kicks it straight to Windhager, who hurries a kick up to half forward for St Kilda. Bouncing ball, Broad swats it away. The Saints are there in numbers. Higgins, Sharman, back to Higgins, who will snap off a step. And it will bounce and be gathered on the last line by Trezise, who pokes a kick for Richmond into the pocket.
As he tries to look for the avenues out of defence, the challenge for the Tigers this afternoon as Rechko got it from Trezise, did find Jack Rice. It was a great kick, and Seth Campbell hasn't had much involvement in this game. He runs from half back. Gets a hand pass away to Steely Green. The small forwards have been well held this afternoon. The kick in the middle of the ground. Winhager went up high. Free kick for a hold, and it's going to go the way of the Tigers. Not officiating umpire spots that one the way of Noel Bolter. He kicked a goal in the second quarter. A couple for Tom Lynch, a couple to debutant Noah Roberts-Thompson. As Bolter gets rhythm from the middle of Docklands. Where was that going? And in the end, Banfield takes an uncontested mark. 25 metres out from his defensive goal for the Saints.
Keeps us guessing. It's a lottery, isn't it?
Imagine what goes through Adam Uze's mind at times. Anyway, coaches have their own challenges. Banfield into the back pocket. In two minds, one way then the other. Dougal Howard decides to just switch it across half back. Stocker to Jack Silvani in the back pocket. Works it out to Banfield, who gets involved here at left half back. Fifth time so far this season, Benny, the Saints have scored 100 points. They've been on the winning side of that on 3 occasions. They lost to Adelaide by a point and Melbourne, and the other 2 times they've scored over 100 points.
Banfield, 10th disposal here on debut. Kicks around the wing and off the hands of the pack, out of play it goes.
See uncontested mark numbers in this last quarter. Front row legends.
We'll bring that to you in a moment.
Uncontested marks, 20-9.
Yeah. I don't reckon that's the way you want to play this if you're Richmond. I reckon you've got to make them find a way past you, much more than that.
St Kilda 39 points to the good. De Koning grabs it out of the ruck. He then has it knocked out of his hands and coming tackled by Filippo. Ball up. Neutral territory, dock side of the ground.
So I can guarantee you one thing, if St Kilda were in the reverse situation here and they were the ones chasing, there's no way they're allowing the opposition team to have that many contested marks in the first 10 minutes.
Taranto handballs to himself on the wing. Burns picks it up, lost him, big dump tackle. And Burns' head ricocheted off the Docklands turf. He's okay, he's back up to take his kick, but
that's dangerous.
Yeah, that had risk attached as the kick goes inside 50, low down, unable to mark Higgins. Richmond have the numbers, they work it out through Broad and then Trainer. Exiting kick back up to the wing, De Koning floats in from the side, takes the marks and Kilda back with the ball.
Lining up in the middle.
Couple of goals for De Koning this afternoon. He decides against coming back into the corridor, sends it high inside 50. Filippo stays down and Broad juggles the mark against Jack Higgins. And then he looks to switch into the back pocket.
Nowhere to go though.
Jaden Short marks. In fact, it's Trezise who has it in the back pocket. Chips it over the top, and now Miller's problem in the left back pocket.
They've just covered all the exits all day, haven't they? The Saints have always been the first one out there to own the territory.
Probably exposed Richmond's lack of run across half back, and the high kick up the wing. Cal Wilkie works his opponent underneath Tom Lynch. It takes the strong contested mark for the Saints.
Philippo's still on centre forward if he wants him.
Brad Hill swinging his arms as well at the top of the 50. Instead he comes inboard to Dougal Howard. Switches into the middle of the ground for Carroll. Euro, St Kilda leading by 39 points as he loads up off a step. Good search and kick in the direction of Caminiti and Higgins, but in front, another good mark taken. Trezise claims it for the Tigers.
Higgins just trails Broad around the back. So Trezise at fullback for Richmond. Sends his kick in the fall direction. Hands to it. Off his hands though. Stocker's there for St Kilda. Handball back into the mark. Going through Taranto. Coughs it up. St Kilda ball again. Garcia. Handball to Carroll. To McRae. Kicks out to no one in particular. Not on the same wavelength as Sharman. Miller's in the back pocket for Richmond. Slaps it onto Trainer. And moves it onto Rechko. Breaks the paint with his run. Then kicks up to the wing looking for Lynch. Goes up and gets it. Richmond with it on the logo.
Comes into the middle of the ground looking for Ross. Just takes it in front of McRae. And the Tigers with a chance to try and move it quickly for once. Comes into the middle of the ground where the run is on from Grill. Drives it long towards the goal square, setting himself. Fawcett takes the mark.
Good
they
block.
Had a mismatch 3-on-2, and it was a good block from Jonty Fall.
Yeah, he just got in the way of Dougal Howard. Gave him no chance to come back at the ball. Good teamwork, good forward craft from Fall to make it easier for Fawcett. He's running hot.
2 goals for Liam Fawcett this afternoon. I'm not going to give that any credit.
Oh, come on, man.
That's a good one.
That's good.
Looking for a 3rd goal this afternoon as he comes in and steers it through from about 15 metres out. A slight angle. And the Tigers refuse to give up. 2 goals apiece so far in this final term. And a 3rd goal for Liam Fawcett, the 21-year-old, 197 centimetres from South Australia. Played for Central Districts in the SANFL. He's in a contract year as well, so important for him to make the most of his chances. The lead for Euro cut back to 33 points. 15-10-100 to the Tigers, 10-7-67.
Yeah, we keep talking about those green shoots and the things you want to see, and that's the build-up. The switch back inside, Sam Grill running off half back, and young Liam Fawcett, he's continued to present, hasn't he?
Yep.
And that's why I know people will say, "Oh, look at Tom Lynch. He's only kicked the 1 goal and whatever else." But what he does is drag away a good defender, which then allows these other young keys to not play against the more experienced number 1 key back.
Oh, I thought it was one of your best half. Had nuance to it. Very good.
Yeah, it's true.
Tapped down by Marshall to McRae. Filippo inside 50 for St Kilda. And Broad chops it off. Broad kicks up the middle. And bullet onto the chest there of Cumming. And kicks towards the back flank for Miller. Richmond in a little kick mark mode here as Miller looks around the wing. Trying to get it up towards Steely Green through his hands out of play. A little bit of closing pressure from Carroll. Saints by 33 points, 17 and a half minutes into this final term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Still 1 game to come in the round, the West Coast Eagles and GWS Giants. Umpire brings it back in. And Ruck's locked up and a free kick picked out. Off the ball, Taranto on McRae. So St Kilda ball.
The voice of Ben Cameron alongside Matt Clinch, Daniel Harford alongside Brett Delidio. Carroll ran a long way. Andrew Mays down on the boundary. The kick through the middle of the ground. Knocked down in the end by Cumming. Got it to the advantage of Burton. Hand pass to Grill. One way then the other. He cuts around Darcy Wilson. Takes a bounce. More Dishes trying to take him on. Hand pass over the top to Cumming. He does work it to Burton. They've got out into space from 55. Sends it in the pocket. Forserd in front. Can't take the mark against Howard. Getting back, Jack McRae. Hand pass to Sinclair. Kicks a wobbling ball out of defence, but it does get to Brad Hill. He arches the back and gets away. Gets the hand pass away to Flanders. Through the middle of the ground, and they're out now. Over the top, the mark is taken by Wilson. He looks up inside 50. Higgins screaming for it in the pocket. Off balance, the kick goes to Henry. Not sure that was where he's intended, but it's ended up working out okay.
I think you might be right. That's a bit similar to the Cumming one.
Yes.
Didn't exactly go where he wanted it to, but nonetheless, it's an effective kick and marked inside forward 50.
I haven't seen too many players in my time get goal side of their opponent on a turnover quicker than Jack Higgins.
Oh, mate, he's
electric going back the other way.
Yeah, he's got a power band strapped to one of the goalposts. Away he goes, the bungee cord.
Another watch on the Richmond bench for Maisie with Sam Cumming coming to the interchange bench. Liam Henry, his shot on goal won't quite have the journey, and Hayes Brown rushes it through for a minor score with the double fist, which you can always mark if you're using both your fists to spoil over Caminiti.
Close to the line's a bit different though, surely.
Well, he's a basketball. I'll give him the...
A lot of utensils we've sort of got to mention today. The faucet, the wrench, the bungee cord, power band.
There's a drawer in the kitchen with all those things.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, dear.
Oh, turnover from Richmond on the handball. So they worked it to half back, so St Kilda take it back.
Have you got a useful draw, Benny?
I certainly do. My mind went immediately to that draw.
Yeah.
34 points. Are they good? St Kilda kick into the pocket. Big leap from Sharman. Doesn't come down with the footy off hands.
A lot of tape measures and
completely unorganised,
sticky tape,
but you know where everything is.
Yeah.
It's there. That's a junk drawer where you just put everything. My wife hates it.
We call it the useful drawer.
The useful drawer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's more positive.
I get the tape measure out. See what needs a bit of work done around the house.
Yeah, mate. So you can get someone to do it.
I was going to say, how much of that is practical from your point of view, Benny Cameron? And so we're going to have another stoppage in the forward 50 for the Saints.
Tasker. He's like, who can come and do this for me?
I have quickly learned, though, that's the difference between renting and owning sometimes. There's no one else you can call. Have to have a crack. Spills out from Jaden Short. Can't get a hand pass away. Steely Green. Hand pass chopped up by Hall. Kicked it straight into Hayes Brown's head. Ricochets out from the Falcon. Tigers desperately defending. Trezise tries to knock it to Hopper. Canning into him, Max Hall. He'd love another goal. Spills out the Tigers' way. Caminiti moving a couple around, and the umpire will ball it up.
Yeah, a bit of Drew Banfield trivia too from the Traralgon Tiger off the SMS. Yep. The first number one draft pick to play 200 games. Dynamic Drew.
Can you fact check that, Lids, as a former number one draft pick?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just quickly look. No idea.
Hayes Brown tries to knock it out. Caminiti still a chance, only about 15 metres out from the Saints' goal. Higgins over the footy. And the umpire will ball it up.
We had more number one draft pick trivia this week when Josh Fraser became the first number one draft pick to coach an AFL team. Wouldn't hurt you to step up to lead it.
Yeah, I know, right. Yeah.
Marshall tapping it down. Ross there for Richmond. Handball away towards Steely Green, or Seth Campbell rather, who turns it over, but Richmond win it back in the back pocket. Campbell, his kick knocked down by Sharman. St Kilda ball half forward. High left-footed kick towards full forward. Marshall going back. Whistle on the play. Free kick St Kilda.
Well, took advantage.
Who took it?
Yeah,
Who's
you
the
know.
offending party? Higgins?
You know who did.
Filippo.
Oh, hang on, it's coming back.
They're getting the double bite at the cherry here.
I hate that.
Come on.
That's some very generous umpiring.
It's not going to be Marshall who gets the free kick. It'll go to Caminiti. Directly in front. The mark's at 15 metres out, and Caminiti should go back and whack it through.
So what would have happened, do you reckon, if that ball from Philippou went through?
They'd just say,
play the goal.
Pay the advantage.
Well then,
yep. It's double jeopardy, isn't it?
Come on.
Caminiti pokes it through. He's got a couple. St Kilda lead by 40. You can make that a new game high. 16-11, 107 plays, 10-7, 67. 22 and a half minutes into the fourth.
I like the umpire there in that instance. I know that Luke Traynor had his arms around Caminiti, but he also had a forearm to his throat. So
it's even, Stevens.
I would have thought that's just play on. If you look at that forearm, look at that. It's crushing his chin.
Yep.
So I get it. It depends which one you see first, but
does the first one always? Is that the first one you always give, or is it the second one that sometimes gets the free kick? I reckon it's the second one mostly gets the free kick.
Yeah. Anyway.
Andrew Mays on the boundary.
just an update on Sam Cumming as well. He just got a bit of work done on that right quad rather, and he's just on the bike at the moment. So good news is it's not too serious. He'll be back on a little later this afternoon.
Thanks, Maisie. The Tigers just avoid a 666 warning as players come streaming back onto the ground. Hayes Brown is going to get a free kick against De Koning. Sends it inside 50. Sinclair had to make the spoil off balance. He got a fair bit of power onto it. Not a lot of aerial ability as he tried to slap it down to Burn Jones. Seth Campbell tries to wrestle it clear. Garcia goes through on all fours, gets a hand pass away. Awkwardly was taken by Caminiti.
That was cool.
Who dropped it without really any control and just hacked it straight out of the full.
Inverted torp, though.
That is a slippery footy. Because I saw Josh Dunkley do the same thing on Thursday night.
So he fumbled it, and then I think just decided, I'll just kick it anyway. Grill sending the Tigs back inside 50 to a marking contest off the hands of Hayes Brown. Howard Rose for the Saints, gives it off to Sinclair. Exiting kick, going up Ross, hands to it, nearly marks. The Saints are at the fall though. They flick around handballs, and then Burns kicks up towards Hall, and he's looked after by Miller. Gives it off to Burns, running by Hall. Kick from Burns around the wing. Vlosten comes and chops it off, and pretty content or keen to get it out. It stays in the end, and then Windhager will take it out.
Talasso falls the Saints.
Yep, it'll go the way of Marcus Windhager, who has it at left half forward. He veers into the pocket. Jack Higgins wants it, sends it in that direction. Bounced into him as trainer. Cooper Sharman in the back gathers. Hand pass to Jack McRae. He might go for goal. He misses to the left-hand side. He had Banfield at the very back in the right forward pocket, but his eyes lit up. It's a 40-point lead. Your Oaks way, 16-12, 108. Make that 41 to the Tigers, 10-7-67. Crowd posted at 31,230 on a Sunday afternoon.
Loston to Miller in the pocket. Driving kick to the wing. Howard hands to it through his hands and trickles out. Throwing on the wing. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Landers checks back in for Jack Sinclair. Ball spun back into play. Hayes Brown reaching over to Koning. Ball out the back. Ross does a 720, gets a handball out. Hopper tracking it. Just keeps it moving forward. Paddles to his own advantage. Then handballs infield to Steely Green. To Seth Campbell, who takes on Flanders. Zips around him, kicks to the pocket. Looking for Lynch. One-on-one. Caminiti reaches over and knuckles it out for a throw in right forward pocket. Saints by 41. 16-12, 108 plays 10-7-67. They're going to level their ledger on the season, St Kilda. They'll be 5-5.
He clashes against the Fremantle Dockers in Perth, Hawthorn and Sydney in the next few weeks to try and test Ross Lyon's side's medal. As it's thrown in, De Koning up against Lynch in the ruck contest. Spills out the way of Hall. His kick is chopped off by Tyler Sonzi. Kicks the Tigers into the pocket. Steely Green's out number 2-on-1, and Carroll spoils it out of play for a boundary throw in. Right forward pocket for the Tigers. Well, Richmond, on the other hand, Dreamtime at the G awaits for them against the Bombers on Friday night, Sydney and the Brisbane Lions in the weeks to follow.
Sinclair Garcia has gone to the opposite 20-metre zone for St Kilda, other end of the ground, standing in glorious isolation.
Marshall got it down to McRae. Hand pass away to Hall. Kick over the head of Cooper Sharman, and Miller takes the mark for the Tigers.
Miller kicks infield. Spots up Ross. Plays on immediately. Steps his man Filippo. Runs to 50. Likes the look of it. And finishes. Classy finish from 50 for Jack Ross. He's in career nick. 16-12, 108, plays 11-7-73. Your Oaks St Kilda leading Richmond by 35 points. 27 minutes into the fourth.
I love players, midfielders, even half-backs that, break that 50 paint and set sail for home. I think unless it's an absolute lay-down misère pass where you can pop it onto someone's chest, you're better off having most players can break 50 and knock it through. Really classy finish. I'm going to look at the disposals overall and trying to get a bit of an idea as to which way you'll go with your votes. I don't remember how many
hospital handball.
Which players have actually really stood out and grabbed the game. There's a few numbers. Jack Sinclair's had the 29.
I don't get seduced by numbers.
I don't. No, I'm just giving you some information.
De Koning wins down the tap to McRae, gets the centre clearance, but it's only as far as Sam Grill, who takes the intercepting mark. The first-year Tiger across half-back to Trezise, who plays on. Around to Koning and sends it out to left half back where Miller takes the mark. Euro 16-12, 108 to the Tigers, 11-7-73. Time on in the final term. As Hayes Brown, the ruck for the Tigers, takes the mark, sends it inside 50, Fawcett presents in front, can't take the mark, Marshall's hand pass to Hall, tackle dispossessed, spills out the way of Burns, look away, hand pass over his shoulder, Windhager can't break clear. And didn't have prior opportunity in the eyes of the umpire as Tyler Sonzi lays the tackle. Saints by 35 points.
Richmond cheer squad still keeping the chant going. Marshall knocking it down. Towards centre half back there for St Kilda. Picked up by Carroll, out to Banfield. Kick out wide, bouncing ball from McRae. Runs it in. Kicks around the boundary line for Hall. Hall happy to hold it up. He'll poke it on. His kick. Nice one there for Marshall, who's run on. Big ruckman wants them to come at him. Kicks into the pocket, looking for his ruck mate. And he finds him to Koning. Deep in the right forward pocket.
All the Saints fans out there yelling, I told you it could work. Marshall into Koning, I told you.
Right, it's hard for the left footer too. Deep in the right forward pocket.
Ramanasca's pocket.
Raman says it doesn't apply on snaps. We had to make sense of that as the snap is a little narrow. St Kilda lead by 36 points, 29 and a half minutes into the fourth term.
Sounding stupider by the moment, that clause from Ramanasca's.
Yep, the disclaimers. It takes place. Sonzi gets it from Jaden Short. We'll work it to Sam Grill inside the defensive 50. Can't get it to Bloston. Henry couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Bloston cleans it up for Richmond. Gets the hand pass away to Trezise. Left half back for the Tigers. He gestures for someone to lead towards him. Steely Green does just that. He marks in front of Carroll. Centre wing on the outer side. The Tigers look up towards half forward. Tom Lynch slowly lumbers in position to try and present once more. The kick's shorter than that. It's knocked away in defence by Flanders. And the Saints square the ledger at 5 wins and 5 losses with the tougher tests to come. They lead from go to woe by 36 points over the Tigers. The Saints move to the first 4 goals of the match in the opening 15 minutes. They led by 21 points at quarter time, by 26 at half time, by 33 at three-quarter time, and they run out 16-13, 109 to the Tigers 11-7-73 in front of 31,230 fans. The Saints, you get what they need against the bottom place Tigers. They're 5-5, while for Richmond, they're 1 win and 9 losses now. Clashes against the Fremantle Dockers in Perth, Hawthorn and Sydney to come. That'll give us a better indication as to whether Ross Lyons Chargers can match it with the best sides in the competition in 2026. For the Saints, there was plenty of goal kickers. They finished with 10 individual goal kickers, including bags of 2 for Cooper Sharman, Max Hall, Hugo Garcia, Filippo and Tom De Koning, while individuals to Higgins, Wilson and Banfield. While for the Tigers, 3 goals to Liam Fawcett, 2 goals to Tom Lynch and 2 goals on debut for Noah Roberts-Thompson. They came with his first kick in footy and his second kick in footy, while individuals to Ross, Fall, Taranto for the Tigers. Euro winners by 36 points over the Tigers at Docklands in round 10 of the AFL. Brett Delidio and Daniel Harfer with their thoughts on what was a pretty comfortable win for the Saints in the end.
It was. Probably what, we spoke about this a fair bit throughout the game. It was what we expected, I think, coming into this game. The Saints would be too strong over the journey of the game. They started, typically well. Being able to get out by a couple of goals in that first quarter. They controlled the start of the game. They controlled the ground essentially right throughout the 4 quarters. But it's a tale of the Tigers are just trying to find the positives, isn't it? Like they've had another debutant today in Noah Roberts-Thompson. Well done to the young lad for kicking his first couple of goals. But other than that, it's sort of it's just a challenge, isn't it? Because they just haven't got their best players out there consistently. And the Saints basically had their way with them half in terms of they played the game the way they wanted to. They controlled it. They went fast when they needed to. They went slow when they didn't.
Yeah, they threw a few things at them, the Tigers, particularly after quarter time. But the Saints are a pretty mature team. They're incredibly drilled, as you talked about earlier in the commentary, with the way they want to set up and play the game and what Saints footy should look like. And they got a lot of that this afternoon. Because experienced players really stood up for them at times. But I love the dynamic mix of their midfield, which was pretty dominant this afternoon as well. They really took the Tigers' midfield to the sword, I reckon. And then it's their guys behind the footy who just set the ground up so well and make it really hard for opposition teams, particularly of lacking experience like Richmond, and quality, in fairness, without being disrespectful, just quality at this stage of their careers to be able to penetrate and hit the scoreboard. So a lot went their way, St Kilda, because they are better than them, and they showed that today. Richmond had some moments which I think Adamuse will look at from a coaching perspective and reflect upon fondly perhaps after quarter time. Not too much fondness in quarter time, but after that they grew and they showed some ability to adapt and get things more Richmondy, for want of a better term. But as you said, we pretty much got what we thought we might get. A really professional, seasoned performance from St Kilda, and a pretty handy margin. Really had them at arm's length most of the afternoon.
Yeah. They were able to just keep that distance, weren't they? And the Tigers never really threatened, nor did we think they would, probably. It was going to have to be an anomaly today, and just immense pressure, I would have thought, for the Tigers to be able to do that job. But ultimately, it's another professional win from the Saints and what we come to expect.
So as we try and work out where St Kilda sit this season, they were the big spenders in the off-season, picking up Jack Silvani, Tom de Koning, Sam Flanders. They're able to do what they needed to do against the 18th place Tigers, a 36-point victory, and we'll get a better indication as they travel to Perth to take on the Fremantle Dockers. For the Tigers, more injuries, unfortunately. Campbell Gray picked up a hamstring injury in the second quarter. The challenge will be for some of their more mature players. We spoke about Tom Lynch and Nathan Broad. These players have been a part of successful periods for the Tigers as to how much they can endure when they can't move the ball all that well against better organised sides like the Saints this afternoon.
Well, and that's the key, is to try and remove your own performance. I mean, you still got to give effort, don't you? And you still got to hold yourself to a high standard, that you're one of the reasons that it's not 100 points, that it comes back to 50, 60, whatever it may be. But it is, I can understand why that would be so frustrating for a Tom Lynch who's playing in front of the ball and is so reliant on what happens up the field. But when they move it as slow and as laborious as they do at times, the Tigers, and only what they end up with inside 50-wise, they're clinching
37 to 63.
Yeah,
it's a big difference.
It makes it hard, doesn't it? You know, I mean, in terms of overall possessions, they're minus nearly 80. So it's you're just not getting any opportunities. So frustrations can boil over at times, which we have seen from Tommy Lynch from time to time. But he continues to try and drive standards, for all these young forwards, and force it and fall to be able to give a great example to follow.
So it's a sixth straight win for the Saints against the Tigers here at Docklands, and their record, Richmond, as Dimmer Hardwick said, they don't like coming here. They've won one of their last 16 games.
They played at Docklands. The old Kennett curse gone, the Dimmer curse.
That being said, they're not winning too many games at the moment, the Tigers, as the Saints Euro gather in front of their race, and in a few moments they'll make their way off. Jack McRae finishes the leading disposal getter with 31, Jack Sinclair with 29, Flanders with 28, Max Hall with 2 goals and 26 disposals. So no Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller this afternoon. Saints fans will look forward to his return. Brad Hill is the last to go over and thank the St Kilda fans. And Sir Doug Nichols' round, the jumper which was designed in honour of him by 11-year-old Jed Bennell, and tells the story of Brad Hill's footy journey. Of course, a 3-time premiership player for the Hawks, but is helping to introduce the next generation of First Nations players at St Kilda and try and not only build something into a promising culture, but an environment in which they have, at times in recent weeks, challenged Ross Lyon in some of the language in which he has used amongst the Indigenous players, but they were far too strong today, winners by 36 points. And his role, Brad Hill, is always going to be important in trying to set the standards amongst a playing group which is still developing.
Yeah, a first-class citizen, Brad Hill, full stop. So no surprise to see him stand up when he needed to in that scenario the other week at the Saints. Great leadership on and off the field from him, and he's a real warrior the way he plays. Like, he's such an important part of what St Kilda do. He and I talked about Ryan Burns through the afternoon, the way that they just run up and down on the open sides to try and create some defensive cover but also offensive threat. He's been doing it for years. He's got great fitness, he's got great work rate, and he's having a good time too at the moment.
Saints by 36 points. Let's join them with Andrew Mays. won't mind me getting that loud and clear, but you can probably hear a bit of it on the big screen.
Oh, how I want to be a Kilda. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Oh, I want to be a Kilda. Oh, when the Saints go marching in.
Just a couple of gremlins, unfortunately, technically for us, but for Saints fans who get to sing the song for the 5th time this season. Hopefully you got enough of that to sing along at home. 16-13, 109 for Euro to the Tigers, 11-7-73 in front of 31,230 fans.
I used to really enjoy tuning into the Saints wins when Milne was in charge.
Yes.
He used to just bring a big smile to my face every time watching him.
Well, that was the quintessential, we've just beaten the 18th team in the competition song.
Yep.
They really
just get it done.
Functionary, wasn't it?
Let's just sing it and get out of here.
Yep.
That's what they weren't overly invested in that, the boys, but they got the 4 points, so they'll be happy. They did the job. That's what they came here to do, and they walk away with the required result.
So I suppose the broader question is going to be, do you feel like Euro St Kilda are getting enough contributors other than the stars? And Asai Wanganeen Miller, Cal Wilkie, Jack Sinclair. This afternoon, a bit more exposure from Max Hall to some centre bounce work. And Hugo Garcia is probably the player, Lids, that Saints fans are excited about what he might be able to become if he can get a bit of continuity in his game and hit the scoreboard, which is what he can do as well. Kicked 2 goals this afternoon.
Yeah, he certainly just gives effort, doesn't he, Garcia? And he'll work. He often gets given a job as well, where he'll go and stand next to the opposition's best mid. Between him and Hall, I love as well. Darcy Wilson, the injection of him with his speed. I think just continue to play him and give him that license just to run and break the game open, because he kicks it pretty well most of the time as well. I feel like I saw Flanders more across half back today. He was didn't have a heap of contested footy and spent a lot of time down there, probably waxing with Jack Sinclair. And that's probably what I feel like Richmond were lacking, was that run and dash off half back, the ability for, a lot gets left to Jaden Short. Sam Grill's just cutting his teeth. He's still learning his craft down there, so you can't rely on him consistently to do that. But that's where I feel like the Saints, they did have Naz and Sinclair doing it for large portions last year. Now Naz is more of a full-time midfielder if he's not being sat on. And you just allow Sinclair, but you can add Flanders to that mix as well.
Yeah, I think that's the bonus of these next couple of weeks. They get to find out who can step up and assist Nas, who wants to take that responsibility and be the one that's going to be sort of driving them forward from contest and getting back to help out and being the ones that can accumulate possessions through the middle of the ground and create some things for the Saints. You mentioned some of the numbers before. McRae's had a indifferent year. He's been in the VFL. We've seen him a few times, Matty, on the TV coverage of the VFL, which is great for us, but obviously not for him. He'd prefer to be playing AFL footy. So he's grinding at the moment. Sinclair's a jet. We know that's Flanders are still trying to find his feet in this system, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree.
He's at 28 today. Carroll's at 25. Garcia we've talked about. Hall we've touched on as well. And then you got Windhager, Burns and Wilson, who have all had 23, 20 and 20 as well today. So I think it was a really even performance. And that's sometimes what happens when your guns are out. It's not necessarily one person that comes in and says, I'll do it all. It's the sum of all parts that gets it done, and they step up together. So that's not a bad sign for Ross Lyon either on a performance like this.
Yep. No, I fully agree with that. I think not being so reliant on Naz to win your games is going to be he's a cherry on top in the class right across the board. But if you're just solely relying on one player playing well for you to get a W, it makes it very easy to defend and nullify those wins.
Yeah, teams like Collingwood and others sort of go through that life that if your best players aren't shining, it makes it hard, but you can't be totally reliant on them to do the job week in, week out. So the Saints had 9 wins and 14 losses last season. The question mark we're not going to know until the back end of the season is, are they a better side this season with the inclusions of Flanders, Tom de Koning, Jack Silvani, Liam Ryan, and what they were last season, and they are trying to take the shortcut to get back to competing in September. It's now a top 10, so is that sort of your pass mark that you want to see them in the top 10, and then maybe they could do a Bulldogs run if they get lucky?
Yeah, I think, and we spoke about it a fair bit today, is their ability to defend is something that I feel like Ross Lyon's always prided himself and his teams on. And you speak about Flanders and de Koning, where I think they've stiffened themselves up is Silvani and his ability to now take a key back and allow Wilkie just to be that drop-off player who can then intercept and play. Dougal Howard coming back into the side as well has made them better, I think. So